It's an empty chair. Our special guest.
I'm
Hello,
special
Ray
too.
Fans. We
Ray
have
fans.
stolen Ray away. We're waiting to give her special entrance. But
Yes.
welcome to the stream, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Look.
Oh, she has returned. I thought I'd scared her off because she thought, oh, he's only here through the magic of video.
Oh my god. I had my phone with me. I saw you guys go live and I was like, those bastards. Oh my god. Hi.
Folks, it's Ray from
Great
the
entrance. Hi.
Yes.
Ray. Thank you for joining us, folks. This is the R&R&R Show. I'm Ruel. This is Richard.
Hi. I'm the first
in my
R.
house. This
Yeah.
is awesome. And of course, we got the always amazing Chris George. As we
Always here.
Yes.
always here.
On
Present.
time. Yeah.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
on time.
The always punctual Chris George.
Yes.
Yep.
Punctual is, and that's a good thing, folks. Thank you for joining us, folks. So you are in the pre-show. What's the pre-show? Glad you asked, Ruel. The pre-show is where we hang out with y'all, get to know our guests, and do some shenanigans before we record our top 12 foodie games today. Really, I'm very excited about this because y'all know I'm a big foodie, so I'm interested to see what our fellow hosts have in store for us. But in the meantime, we're going to hang out, and I'm really excited because Richard is literally in the house.
Yes.
And we should talk about what it took for us to make this thing happen today.
Oh, you mean just like what we just went through
In
for
the
the
last
last
30
hour?
minutes or so, yeah.
Yeah. Ruel has a really nice PC under this table here. I have to say, it glows and is it an Alienware or something like, I don't know, but apparently it does not play well with Bluetooth at all. And this is the first time you've ever had somebody sitting at the table with you while also having guests on, right?
Yeah.
And so the technical problem a streamer would run into is if we just could hear Ray and Chris through the speakers that are on the table, the mic would pick it up and you would all hear double. So that's why we're all wearing cans or old ancient earbuds in my case. But Ruel did not have a second set of cans. So I spent 20 minutes rummaging through every nook and cranny of my RV, which is a half a block or around the corner, trying to find all kinds of stuff. I found some Bluetooth headphones. I found some stuff I could turn them into wired, and we couldn't get anything to work. This computer just said no. And at one point, it just stopped doing the basic stuff.
Yeah.
Because Windows 11, nothing is where it's supposed to be.
I totally regret upgrading to Windows 11.
I regret not bringing my computer down with Windows 10 because it would have been easier to set my computer up in your setup than trying to make your setup work with just a second set of Bluetooth. So,
see, I haven't upgraded since Windows 4, and I'm pretty good.
Windows 95.
Thomas's Windows 11 is definitely a Windows product.
Yes,
That is a true statement.
Yeah.
So at the last minute, with less than 30 minutes on the clock, Ruel got out his crutches, and the two of us very slowly hobbled our way to his car so we could drive to the nearby Best Buy so I could buy the most ridiculously overpriced 3.5 mil splitter you've ever seen, and then rushed back here, and Ray was sitting very patiently waiting by the time we got back, wondering, why was I even showing up for this show? And but now it all seems to be working. Actually, we haven't done a sound test. Audience, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Is everything working? Please say it's
okay?
working.
Test,
Let
test,
us know,
1, 2.
folks, if
Well, we're all talking about Windows in the chat, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Microsoft doing Microsoft things. That's it exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Microsoft doing Microsoft things. Hey, look, at least that works. I'm glad that thing works.
Yes. Yeah, everything is in the wrong place. I mean, it's all still there.
Yeah.
But what was wrong with 10?
That's the thing. Like, there's still stuff I can't find. And it's just like, oh, it's
Oh
ridiculous.
my gosh, yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm literally drenched in the sweat that he normally talks about. It's my own personal sweat. I can't speak for him.
Yeah, but I've got that effect on everybody.
It is true.
see, folks, now you know my pain. This is what I deal with every 2 weeks with Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes me sweat.
I thought, well, we worked it out, and I thought Chris got the message in the mail. But no?
Oh, apparently not.
I sent a very specific message to you.
Yeah, you did send a specific message to me, and it's right behind me. It's right here. Richard sent me a board game bag because I was jealous and I wanted to do a video on it. And so I opened the package, and there's this knife. There's just this knife sitting there, and it's not like I was like, well, that would have been helpful to open the package. Maybe that was the thing. So now it has a permanent spot on my shelves back here. I didn't get a sword ever from doing board game media, but I did get a knife, and I think that's better. It's it's quite nice, and you can see it's been very well used.
Wait,
No-
so you
no
actually
steak.
mailed him a knife?
What happened was I packed. That is my favorite frickin' knife, by the way.
Is that
So
your
that shows
favorite
just how
knife?
much I like you. That is the
Wow.
knife that
It's a nice knife.
Yeah, it's the one we use for opening boxes, and they show up, and it would just
Yeah.
we keep it next to the microwave. And I boxed up that bag for you, and I was heading out to the post office, and I realized, oh crap, the straps! They were in a pile in my room, so I had to run back, and I grabbed my knife, I ripped it back open, stuffed all the straps in, and inadvertently stuffed my favorite knife in as well.
Oh my god.
Is why that happened. The mystery can be
Well-
finally revealed. It was not a horse head in the bed, Godfather style message after all.
Yeah, a likely story.
It
It's
did,
taken
yeah.
you
I've been
this
working
long
on
to
that
come
cover
up with
story
that
for a while.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I gotta say, Bloody points out something that I thought but didn't want to say, which is microwave knife. I love how you were like, and of course I keep my knife by the microwave. You said that like that was like that's where everyone keeps their
Right.
knives.
Wait.
It was such a bizarre detail.
Am I wrong? In that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does
Why
everybody
by
keep,
the microwave?
where does everybody
You're
keep their
opening
microwave
packages
knife?
in the kitchen?
If not by the microwave.
We have knives, but not next
Fascinating.
to the microwave. Yeah.
In the microwave?
I keep mine in the microwave. I keep mine.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
you just like
yeah.
to gamble with it every time. Maybe I'll forget
Yeah,
what's in there one
that's
time.
it.
It
and
makes it
just,
exciting
ooh.
when you're heating something up.
You're
It's
trying
like
to open a
little
portal to
fireworks
another
show.
dimension, and you keep trying to
Yeah.
throw stuff in there, it just never works.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Folks, this is the kind
That's
of
awesome.
entertainment you're going to receive for the next 30 minutes. And then we're going to go into the top
When's it gonna
12 list.
stop?
Yeah, we are not
Hey,
going
no
to
more
stop.
fun.
This is awesome.
We're
We
done.
love having Ray here. Again, Ray,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today. Hey, Dark Satanica says, ours is by the air fryer, no space by the microwave. Okay,
Well, that's in the neighborhood.
fair enough. Air fryer,
It's in the
microwave.
neighborhood.
I think Dark
That's close
Satanica and
enough.
I are very simpatico, which I never would have thought I'd say about a
Yeah.
dark Satan type person.
Hama says, my knife block is by the range. Yeah, see, that's... The
Oh
range
no,
meaning-
no, we're not fancy enough to have an actual knife block. No, this
Oh.
is just an errant knife. Because if you were to come to our house and you were to open our cutlery drawer, there's I don't know how many different mishmashes of spoons and knives and forks and everything.
I hear you.
And yeah, that is an orphan knife. That knife lost its family many moons ago, and now I'm glad it's found a new home. And it's
Yeah,
not
that's
relegated
fine, Chris.
to the dark, dusty
bring it
corner
back
next to
to
the
you.
microwave where it was getting slowly irradiated, and now it occupies a place of pride as a constant reminder to you to cut it with the shenanigans and do
Yeah,
the
that's true.
secret word properly.
And Chris, I was just thinking,
I
like, how are
do
you
the
going to bring it
secret
back
word
to...
properly. I say the secret word once.
He
Whenever
does.
we have a secret word, I will say it once. And it's not my fault if the audience isn't paying attention and happens to hear things that may sound like the secret word.
Yes.
Chris, how are you going to bring this knife back? I mean, somehow Richard managed to mail you a knife over international borders.
Exactly, into Canada.
And
Yeah,
how is he going to bring
that's
it back
impressive.
now? That seems
Yeah.
sort of sketchy.
I figured I'd just put it in my belt.
Oh, yeah.
Walk
Oh,
on
I love
through
it.
security.
I love it. That's hard. I love it. No one
Yeah.
will.
Just confidence, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, "What's that?" I'll be like, "What do you think it is?"
Mhm.
And just look at them and be like, "Go, yeah, honestly, you go
Go
ahead.
through
sir.
it. You're fine.
You're the least
Protection.
threatening person I've ever seen. You're completely fine. You could have a whole arsenal, and we wouldn't blink an eye."
There
Yeah.
you go.
Nice. So somehow we're going to segue this into talking about food games, folks. Well, I mean, we are in the kitchen. We're in the
Hey, yeah. Nice segue.
There you go.
But we're going to save that.
Nice
If y'all have any
segue.
questions for Ray, let us know. Oh, Chris.
No. No.
Oh, I said
That would have been a good
knife.
spot for a
Segue.
sticker audience. I'm
Mm.
sure there were
Yeah.
several appropriate ones to throw up at that.
Or
Really.
subscribing, because that just goes over my face. If you
Yeah.
want to see less,
Yeah.
That's how you
Right.
can not see Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Richard is on the road.
Yes.
Obviously, he's here in my home right now. I'm very excited to have him. Very happy to have you here. You and Jen had just started your trip.
Yeah.
How's it going so far?
Oh, it's going great. We're having a fantastic time. We left, gosh, I think it's coming up close on a month ago.
Oh.
I think. Yeah, we're in November now, right? Yeah. So our first stop was at the Funicon Game Convention in Eugene, Oregon, their first ever. It's just a small little convention. I think they had like 200 or 300 people show up, and it was fantastic. Had a great time, and it was so successful. They are now going to be doing it again next year.
Oh,
that was
cool.
actually really cool. Chaz Marler of Watch It Played, he was there because apparently he lives in the area. I had no idea he lives in Central or Western Oregon.
Cool.
And apparently in his day job, he does some kind of programming or something like that, web back-end programming, because he made this really, really cool interactive tool for the audience where he and I sat up on the dais when this event happened, and he told everybody to get out their smartphones and go to a special web page he created. And then he was running it. He was asking me a series, 50 of the hardest board game trivia questions you have ever heard in your life with multiple choice answers. And I had to answer every single one. And when I did, everybody in the audience answered not what they thought was the correct answer, but whether they thought I was right or wrong.
Oh.
And
Okay.
and then
That's
whoever
awesome.
was most simpatico with me ended up, there were like a bunch of prizes that were given out. And that was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it went off incredibly well. And yeah, it was just a good convention also. And then we continued south. We spent a couple weeks at my sister-in-law's place up in the Bay Area. And that was a good time. We hadn't really hung out with them in years because, of course, we've been back for half a decade, but we've been gone for over a decade in Europe. And then we just continued to slowly work our way down here. In between there and here, I swung by, first we went to Reading before we hit San Francisco, because that's where my long-lost half-sister lives.
Oh.
You remember, it was just a year ago, we learned of her existence.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
I
that's
have
right.
one of those too.
Oh, is that happening to you also?
Yeah, I also have a long lost half sibling.
Yeah. Are they in Redding, California? Because that would really be freaky.
They're not.
Is it
If
the
their
same
name is
one?
Tammy, that means we're related. But probably not. Yeah, but anyway, so I met her in person, and we went out to dinner and hung out with them for a little bit. Then we hung out with the sister-in-law. Then we continued south, and I met my cousin, who I've never met. He was born when we were living in Europe. And so I'd never met him, and we swung by his neck of the woods, met him and his family, spent the night there too, and then we kept on coming down, and we just pulled in last night. Pulled up in front of this guy's house. The house is dark. Nobody's here. I told him we were coming today.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, I guess message received. All right, let's drive and around the corner. And like an hour later, you said, oh, I'm sorry, I just got out of the shower.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
how long
literally
was
in
this
the
shower? Yeah. So, and then we're here today. After this, we will continue south. And we're going to spend a couple nights in San Diego, and then we will cross the border and over the next 3 or so months drive to the southern tip of Baja, Mexico, and then back up. And then come back up through Phoenix, where we will hang out with Dan King, the Game Boy Geek, for a while, and then swing back around to Vegas for Dice Tower West in March, and then we'll be home. Probably all told 5 or 6 months on the road.
Wow. So, folks, Dice Tower West, that's in March. So you've
Is
got
that right?
yeah, you've got a couple of months on the road.
Yes.
Ahead of you. So that's great.
Yeah.
I love hearing the stories, and I think it's so cool that you're going to be in Mexico for a couple
We're
of months.
very excited.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
At our home, I got an alert this morning. Warning, dense fog advisory.
Oh.
So we are running as far away from that as we can.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Can
you had to deal with 50-mile-per-hour winds last night.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Oh my God. Well, this wasn't too bad, but last night we just boondocked out in the middle of the of Death Valley. On the way here, and we were getting hit by those same 60-mile-an-hour winds. And here it wasn't too bad because it was broken up by suburbia.
Yeah.
But just out on the vast plains of Death Valley, it felt like the whole rig was going to fall over a couple of times.
those winds could knock
Oh,
down
yeah.
the-
It's a big old beast.
Scary. Crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, thanks for
Can I
all the
ask
follows,
what
folks.
the? Sorry.
No, go ahead, Ray.
Can I ask, because I've never met someone who RVs like this before. What? Because not to Chris, yes.
Anytime somebody follows.
Thanks for all the
Like, yes,
follows,
Chris, you want to
folks.
say something?
No. Sorry. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I'm just
I just wanted the
curious.
attention.
I'm curious, what is it for you that makes you love it so much? 'Cause
Oh,
to be honest, it sounds like my nightmare.
Oh, really?
So like, what is it? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
My nightmare, living nightmare.
I'm more interested in that than any possible answer I could give you. I just would have thought it's just implicit to anybody that the call of the open road, the freedom to be anywhere, do anything, not be tied down by schedules or responsibilities. The worst mistake you can make in the RV life is this right now. Me saying I will
scheduling.
be in
That's
Eastern
fair.
Los Angeles on the 21st at 12 because it goes against the entire credo. And actually to be here, we had to drive like crazy. Normally, for the time we're out on the road, everything is peaceful. Everything is chillaxed. It's just me and Jen and the dogs. That's it. That's my entire universe. And I know the same is true for Jen. So home is with us. We're not pining to get back because we're just bringing it with us. And it's wonderful getting to see new things, try new things, but just to get away from our routine and all the stress we've chosen for ourselves. It's a hard break saying, well, no, you can't think that way anymore. Yes, I'm trying to make my life stressful by continuing to film stuff, but which I'll be doing on the road. But it's such. But why? Why does that not appeal to you?
I think honestly, Hexstar said it really well. I need to be bribed heavily to leave my home. I'm like a little homebody.
Well, that's the thing.
For me, I like to travel. But I want to like be there.
Yep.
The getting to a place has no appeal to me. I love to travel. I grew up with a lot of travel, but I'm a plain girly if I can. Driving in a car for several hours. That's the part that's tricky for me. But that was such a beautiful. I'm glad we got that beautiful monologue. That was so heartwarming.
Yep. Yeah.
The whole time I could just think there's nothing more that I like that I find relaxing than a nice 6-month drive.
Yeah.
It's a fair point. And, if we had a fifth wheel that we were just having a truck driving, I think we'd find it a lot less pleasant. We have a 30-foot long Class A, which is basically a city bus. And honestly, both Jen and I find it fun to drive because you're up so high. The windows in front of us are gigantic. And, when we're driving through beautiful countryside, it's just stunning. It's like the world is being presented to us in a nature documentary as opposed to just sitting down low and really feeling like we're disconnected. And it's actually, Jen just kind of gets into the zone or the flow or whatever it is professional athletes call it. Because the interesting thing is Jen does 99% of the driving.
Okay.
I am an excellent driver.
That's why you like it.
I was gonna say
you're not doing the driving. It's
He's
all
got a
coming
driver.
together now.
Yeah.
I too would like that if that were the case. If Jen wants to drive me around the country, let her know I am down. Let me in.
I will pass that
in a
information
nice,
along.
comfortable hotel where you can be lying down and reading a book, and that's fine.
Or
I
room
understand.
service,
You've convinced me.
That is true. It's good if you can pull that off, and I have done so. My driving is just whenever we have to do some kind of tricky backup maneuver or parallel park or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually more comfortable driving it than her. I was trained by the United States government to drive big rigs.
That's right.
When I was a mailman.
Yeah.
And
I've learned so many things about Rado in the past 30 minutes.
He's got a ton of stories, Ray. He's
Yeah.
got a ton. This is great.
I contain the
Incredible.
multitudes. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jen just doesn't trust me. I mean, and it is nerve. I mean, it is nerve-wracking sitting in the passenger seat. The thing is as wide as most. I mean, it's as big as a rig, and so it can be just kind of nail-biting sometime. And you want to be in control, and Jen is very much that way in all things. So she's happier, I'm happier, the dogs are happier. It's awesome. I can't recommend it highly enough. Oh, and I should say, by the way, we have a hard and fast rule: no more than 2 hours of driving a day. Find some place within 2 hours of where we are, and that's where you're going to go. That's why. I mean, the trip from my cousin in Fresno to here, that would have been way too long a drive in one day from Fresno to here.
Right.
So we spent a couple nights in the middle of Death Valley because it was only an hour and a half to get there, and then like 2 hours to get here. So that's another thing. Because we have our home with us, we can just stop anywhere and say, okay, done driving now. Gonna go take a nap.
Nice.
There's the bathroom. Take a shower, whatever. So that helps a lot too.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so my question is, I wanted to ask you. So you're filming videos as you're going along. So folks, you all know on the YouTube channel, there's still videos being posted.
Yep.
Rich is doing it regularly. As you do that, is Jen also? Does she have her Glassworks stuff? Is she actually able to do any of her work?
We talked about this. She spent months for this trip preparing, buying portable versions of some of her equipment so that she could do her glasswork on the road with her.
Whoa.
And literally at the 11th hour, she said, you know what? I'm not going to bring any of it. I'm leaving it all behind because, it's what I was talking about earlier. I want a break from that cycle I put myself in. She wants to take a break she has literally shut down her Etsy shop. If you go to etsy.com/JenniferHamGlass, the only thing you can buy there is t-shirts of Rado and this guy right here.
Yeah.
And hey, Chris, I'll put your t-shirts on there too if you'd like to be selling your shirts. No problem. It's total easy peasy. Because she said, I'm just going to shut this down, kind of completely decompress. She has been making glass nonstop for 20 years, and she is going to force herself to stop. And so instead, she's brought a lot of other stuff like knitting, and she literally bought some easels. She thinks she might paint some of the beaches we're hanging out at.
Yeah.
So she still wants to have her creative artistic outlet because she is an artist, her heart and soul. But she is taking a break from all the equipment. Okay. So if you would like a portable glass kiln, we have one for sale.
Yeah, no, I'll take that hobby. So you're talking about getting away from schedule and stuff. Yet you're still doing videos on a regular.
Yes, I know, and honestly, I am regretting it.
Are you really?
Yeah. Oh well, regretting is too strong a word, but everything's just so chill and relaxed, and we're playing games, and we're having a great time, and we're walking the dogs, and we're seeing all kinds of great sights, and we're only driving up to 2 hours a day, and then taking usually 2 or 3 days off before we drive again.
Yep.
And then I got to film because next week we got to get this video up. Okay, so time just to switch back into that mode. And hey, everybody, today Rado runs through blah blah. Yeah. And honestly, that's why you're here. That's why I got you and Shane, Kimberly, and Amy and Maggie to do more run through, so I can do less. Yep. Although you've been MIA for a while.
I have been. Yeah. Yep. Health and personal issues, but as I'm getting back to the swing of things. Yeah. Thankfully.
Because I know it's you wouldn't think it, but I'm sure Chris knows it, and I'm sure Ray knows it. It looks just like fun and games, but media content creation is hard, and it's stressful, and it is work, and I'm having a hard time. Perhaps I should have left all my cameras at home too, like Jen did, but she can just shut down her shop and open it again. If I shut down the channel for 6 months, we're not coming back from that. That's a Draken strike situation.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it does sound lovely and relaxing, Rado. And I'm thrilled for you that it does sound lovely and relaxing. I'm thrilled that you're having such a lovely time.
Thank you. I am too. But enough about me. We have another guest.
Yes. Let's talk to Ray. Get to know Ray a little bit better. Folks,
that's what all the people are here for anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
They've been very patiently. We've heard Rado shtick a million times.
And very funny in the chat too. There have been some very funny comments that I wanted to respond to.
Please.
Thank 2 hours driving a day. It would take 3 days to get across LA in rush hour.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Thank you to everyone from my community who stopped by. I really appreciate it. Thank you for hopping on over here. It's so wonderful to see so many friendly faces in here. I've missed board game Twitch quite a bit, so it's nice to be back in this space for a little bit.
Yeah.
Ray, I don't know how much you want to talk about, but you were working for CGE for a while. You were the Twitch streamer there, and now you're over at the Op. You want to just talk about a little bit about what you do and did?
Yeah.
Sure. So a lot of you probably know me from my work at CGE. I was there for a couple years, as Ruel mentioned, as their in-house Twitch streamer. You may have seen me at conventions. I think the thing most people know me for was my convention streams. I created this mobile IRL streaming rig that I would walk around with at shows. So that was something that I was really proud of at CGE, and I just streamed all the time for CGE, and I was looking for a little bit of a change, so I've now switched over to the Op, which makes a ton of amazing party family games, and also they're kind of getting into their hobby era in 2024, which is part of why I made the switch when I did, because I love a party game as much as anybody else. I love the co-brand stuff, but hobby is really where my heart is, and when I spoke to some folks at the Op at Gen Con, hearing their lineup, I was like, all right, now's the time for me to come in as they're really digging their teeth into hobby stuff. We've announced 3 hobby games in the last 2 weeks, and it's been crazy, and I'm really excited to be there. My official role over there is digital content coordinator, which is a hodgepodge of social media. So if you ever talk to us on social media, that is me. And then also doing video and content stuff like this as well. So a little bit of my old job plus some new stuff.
Wow. Can you break any exclusives on the show today?
Ooh, I don't have any exclusives, but in case you missed it, we've got tons of hobby stuff coming up. We just released the art project in the US.
It's very good. Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my mind, that sort of delineates our sort of like start of like our hobby girl era is the art project because it's been so well received. It was such a hit at Essen. It's finally available in the US. That is a cooperative game where you are reclaiming art that has been stolen by this ominous organization called the White Hand. It's a really good, simple cooperative game, but it's actually quite challenging. So
Mhm.
it's like that perfect combination that you like in your co-op games. We announced that our game Aqua is going to be coming in Q1, I believe, of next year, which is a little tile laying ocean themed game from the same father son team that did Heat Pedal to the Metal,
Oh wow.
which is
Oh,
sick. Yeah, it's the same.
nice.
It's the same design team, so we're very very lucky to
Okay.
have that. And then the last one is we have been slowly starting to talk about Gnome Hollow, which was a game that a lot of publishers wanted. That was a big talk of the town at Gamma. We were very lucky to get the deal with the designer, and that will be our Gen Con release. And there's even more, but those are the three things that I've been like juggling on social media lately of like, oh God, we went from nothing to everything all at once.
Right.
There is a hobby game for everyone coming out from the op next year. I'm so excited.
Wow.
That's
Can you?
fantastic.
The most interesting thing about all that, because this is all news to me, because I have not been keeping up with the news as much as I should.
Well, you should stop by the op when you're in San Diego and you
Oh,
can
that's
go
right.
see
What?
some of
Yeah,
it.
the office is down
We
there.
should, like,
Go
do
stop
that.
by.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll shoot you an email. You should go
Yeah,
and get
yeah,
a first
totally.
look at all this stuff.
Oh yeah, because I would
Hell
like
yeah.
inside information, please. But I'm curious. Okay, so you said, I mean, it almost sounded like there was an old style Shane Black bidding war for this upcoming game because all the publishers wanted it.
Yes.
How did the op get
Yes.
it? What was their?
So that's actually a publicized story.
Oh,
There is
okay.
an article that was released by Mojo Nation like a week ago where the designer actually talks about this process. So I don't feel weird saying it because it's actually already out there in the
Okay.
world, and a lot of
Right.
publishers won't talk about that process.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of happy to like pull down that curtain a little bit. So what happened with this designer was he brought it to Gamma kind of on a whim, got a ton of attention. Everyone was talking about it, and he very quickly got overwhelmed by people giving him pitches, giving him bids, and this was one of his first like non-Kickstarted games. So he just kind of shut down, and he went over to another booth, and I can't swear, but he was crap talking, being like, I can't, I'm overwhelmed. I kind of hate these publishers. It's too much. And one of the guys he was talking to was like, do you know the guy you're talking to right here is a publisher? And he was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. And that guy ended up being Tony from the op. And he was like, hey man, like, don't worry. Like I'm not going to try to pitch you. Like, just, I'll like help you through this process. And basically Tony ended up just being a friendly face, a helpful person to help the designer navigate what the hell was going on. And ultimately it did lead to like, hey, if you want to publish with the op, we'd love to have it. And
Nice.
that whole story is in this
Wow.
Mojo Nation article. If you
Cool.
want to read it in the designer's own words, I'm doing a terrible job regurgitating it, but it was just a really great story of like genuine friendship being formed at a convention amidst all the hecticness of creating a hit game kind of out of nowhere. And yeah, that's how he came to the op. And we're so grateful to have the game. And we can't wait to bring it to folks at Gen Con.
That's fantastic.
That's a great story.
That's
Thank you
really
for
cool.
sharing. That's wonderful.
I told it terribly. Please go read the article. The designer talks about it way better than I did. But yeah,
Read?
it's also just a really cool testament to like the power of going to conventions and bumping into the right person and making the right friends. It's really cool. If you're looking to get into the publishing space or, you know, pitching your first game, it's a really interesting read.
Well, no, that's
But
interesting
it's
too. You
also a
said
testament,
Grab the
I
link.
think, it's also a testament to the people at the op too. I saw in the comments somebody shouted out Andrew at the op is like a stand-up guy or whatever. I know when I went to Origins, like that, I haven't been to too many conventions. I'm going to PAX upcoming, but I went to Origins and like Andrew from the op was like my favorite person who I met. So
Oh, wow.
genuine,
Yeah.
so nice, like so excited to talk to me. This is also like a year and a half ago too, so I was like a
Yeah.
lot like smaller, and it just a year into like doing board game media, and just like left such an incredible taste in my mouth in terms of like, wow, these are good people. Like he was awesome. We talked about theater. He was like, oh, I'm seeing a show. I was like, oh, you're seeing my
Nice.
friend in the show. Yeah, he's just like such a lovely person, and like those relationships do matter, right? Like it is
Absolutely.
such a human thing. Like I think especially in the board gaming space, like we love connection, right? We love hanging out and playing and creating things with people.
Absolutely.
And it's clear that the op hires a great caliber of person, just judging by everybody who I know who works there, who is, well, you and Andrew, but this Tony sounds pretty
I mean,
good too.
I don't wanna boost his ego too much because I see that he's in chat.
Oh.
But Andrew's
okay.
actually the I have a very similar story. Andrew's the reason that I'm at the op as well. I had been thinking about switching publishers, and I had a similar experience where I was like, I don't know where to go. There's I don't know what the next path for me is. And I bumped into Andrew and we talked for like, I was at an event where I was supposed to be like networking and talking to other people. I ended up in a corner with Andrew for like 4 hours just talking, and we clicked so well. And I was like, oh, all right, I'm going to like look into that. I knew they had that open position at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to look at that more than I might have otherwise. Cause like these people just seem great. They seem so
100%.
invested in just being a good force in the industry. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm all about. So I'm here now, and I'm really on my first month into the job, and I'm loving it. I'm very, very grateful to be here now.
Cool.
Oh, love hearing that. That's
Yeah.
great. Folks, by
Yeah,
the way,
we're good
Ray's
folks.
dropped a link to
Yeah.
that article. You could click
Yeah,
on there
go
in
read
chat.
it.
Go
It's
check
good.
that out. And thank you for that,
Mhm.
Ray.
I have one more question then, although it might be
Yeah.
before your time since you're a recent transplant. What is the
Yes,
deal
yes.
with the the op formerly known as USAopoly?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just a branding
Yeah.
decision. Andrew might be able to speak to it more in chat. It's just a little bit easier to say. It also distanced ourselves a little bit from just making branded monopolies, which is what we started out doing. We want to do other things as well. So that's my understanding. Andrew, feel free to tell me I'm totally wrong in chat. But for my understanding, it's just a branding overhaul.
Oh, I
to
had no
kind of
idea that the
make us
company
seem-
the company literally started only making Monopoly.
Oh,
things.
if you ever speak to the CEO of the op, he loves to tell the story. The first game we ever made, he was like shilling out of the back of his car at at the Olympics. I think 1 year in San Diego, it was an Olympic version of Monopoly. That was the first
Was it unbranded?
game that the
was
op
it,
made.
Was it
No, it was. Oh, I don't know the details. I believe it was. There's some wild story behind that game about how he wanted it to get branded and he couldn't, so he just sold it anyways. Again, another story I'll tell terribly, but that is how we started, with selling various branded monopolies. And now we're so much more, and we want that to be reflected in our
I think
name.
that must be Andrew in the chat who just
College
confirmed.
football coach.
Yep, there
Wow.
it is.
Andrew.
The company began in 1995 when the CEO was hawking games out of his vans at the Olympics that year. Yep, that's...
Oh, and hence
Okay,
the
good, I got my
USA.
story straight.
Yep.
So the USA was because of the Olympic. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah. Because you're right, that did really kind of pigeonhole you.
Mhm.
It pigeonholed us a little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And we've become so much more, and that's
Yep.
awesome.
And continuing to become so much more, obviously.
Notable Joe also has a question in chat. Does the op have an official Twitch stream? I didn't see anything on their website.
We have a channel where I think the op games, I haven't started an official stream over there because, as everyone on this channel knows, streaming is a lot of work. And I'm doing a lot of things for the op right now, and I am someone who is a perfectionist. So I don't want to do something if I can't do it with my whole chest. There may come a time where I start to stream on the op channel, but for right now, I'm just getting my feet under me with everything else I need to do. But I hope to be popping my head in on various channels like this on Board Game Twitch, because that really is how I got my start in the industry, and I miss it a lot. So it's good to be here.
So does that mean the attendees of Gen Con next year will not be able to hang out with Robo Ray?
I believe someone's taking up the mantle of the robot suit, but I can't unfortunately speak to that.
All right.
Robo Ray 2.0.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. You moved on.
They
to
can only be
bigger things.
called at Robo Ray 2.0 though. they forfeit the right to their name, at least for the time of the convention.
Right. Nice.
It's
Folks,
like Iron Man. You take up the suit.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, a little Tony Stark action. Folks in chat, any other questions? Feel free to drop them in chat. We've got a few more minutes before we get to the top 12 portion of the show, where we're going to actually record for YouTube top 12 foodie games coming up in a few minutes. But we're so happy to be here hanging with Ray from the op, and drop those questions in chat. We'll be happy to get to them.
Are there any more events coming in? Has anybody spent any points to make us jump through hoops?
Oh, I haven't checked, so let me check that.
I saw this or that early on.
I love this or that.
Okay, why don't we do that?
No better way to get to know somebody than to query them about all kinds of meaningless trivia.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Gimme.
Channel points. We've got this or that.
Where are you?
Where is this thing?
That's not. It was Stream Manager. And then one of those buttons on the right will give you a list of what's live.
Let me expand this over here.
All right, there you go. Raid channel. Click that. You don't have them.
Yeah, why isn't no?
Ah!
Okay, I'm gonna let
You chat with them for a bit. I'm taking over. I'm taking control.
Emily and things. Thank you for the follow.
Let's see. Actually, Talk amongst yourselves.
So what we're gonna do, folks, is we're gonna y'all have spent some Rado channel points to do a this or that. We're gonna need your help, friends in chat. Give us 2 things: peanut butter, jelly, worker placement, or towel lane, and we're gonna give you our answers. We're gonna pick this or that. We've got a couple of them here, so we'll go a couple.
Yes, yeah. So we have to do a double this or that
Yeah.
for Goblin requesting it now and Sea Otter requesting it last week.
Yep.
We will mark them as complete. We will save the Ruel Wanks for depending on if we have time or not.
Yep.
But Ray, peanut butter or jelly? Just to get it going.
Oh, that's the cursed choice because I'm allergic to one and I hate the texture of the other. So I guess I'll pick jelly because it won't kill me.
Jelly?
Oh, you're allergic.
I'll pick jelly because it won't kill me, but I'm weird about food texture. It's too gooey. I don't like it.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Neither. They're both out.
Does it make you feel
They're
like you're
both
eating
out of
fish
here.
eggs or something like that? Or
Yeah.
I can see that.
God, I never conceptualized it like that before, so thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Where's all of this?
I just made it worse for you.
We got roll and write or party game.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Oh, there's a bunch.
Oh, I'm
of
sorry.
them.
I didn't mean to cut.
No, you're
I'm
good.
so sorry. I didn't mean to
No.
cut off.
Here,
That's it.
I'm not
we'll-
sure how
starting
this
at the
works.
top.
If there's like a formal cue or not.
Yeah, we got Cosmic Ben asking prequels or sequels.
Prequels.
Well, I'm still on roll and write and party games.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
get there.
We'll get there.
Ray, jump the
That's
queue.
what I'm thinking about.
I'm sorry. I ruined it.
I'm
It's
thinking
my
about
fault.
All right.
No,
getting
I'm
dark
saying
here.
Well, honestly, I think you and I are probably the only people who really care about that anyway.
Oh, that's so bright.
Prequels
Sorry.
and sequels.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although The Last Jedi is still the greatest Star Wars event of all time.
Oh, he went there.
Oh,
folks.
yes. I'll go there 7 ways to
Whoa.
Sunday.
Wow.
The only thing that maybe supplants it is Andor. Andor number 1, Last
Andor,
Jedi number
yeah.
2, and everything else tied for distant.
or
third.
like an episode of 24.
Oh,
That's
there
what
you
it
go.
felt like.
I like that. That's actually real.
Okay, this is this and that, but Chicken Free Cage says, not a question. Ray, your curls look so nice. OMG. I thought that was a
I love you,
that's very
chicken.
nice.
Thank you. Cosmic Ben says, Ro, what sorcery do you use to have such a luxurious beard? Thank you, Cosmic Ben. There is no sorcery involved. It's just
All natural.
all natural. All natural.
All natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, just in time for Thanksgiving week.
yeah. Turkey or ham, folks?
Ooh. Ham.
Turkey.
Turkey.
Ham.
Oh,
Oh.
dang it.
Turkey, turkey. Gobble, gobble, folks. How far are we down here?
I don't know. What do you? There you go.
Okay, we did prequel.
Right, yeah.
Salty or sweet?
Sweet.
Salty.
Salty.
100%.
I'm
Love me a
totally
salty
copying that. I
snack.
love salty sweet stuff.
How's this even hard?
I'll go salty.
Give
Wow,
me a sweet
I'm
little
all
salty
alone.
chip.
Yeah, I love chips.
All the ice cream for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man.
Okay, here's the actual board game question. Feld or Uwe? Rosenberg or Feld?
Uwe.
Uwe of Academy Games? Wow. All right. What an odd esoteric
Wow,
choice.
it's full.
Okay.
There's a deep cut for you, folks. I just because of Castle Burgundy, I've got to go Feld.
Yeah.
For that one game alone.
Mm.
But
I think I gotta go Uwe.
Really?
I think Uwe's breadth is so.
Yeah.
Well, Feld is too. Really, I think like objectively, maybe Feld does more.
Yes,
difference.
it does.
You know?
So you got to come up with another
Yeah.
reason to go Uwe.
No,
'Cause you're
well,
first
I
one,
love
we're throwing
Le Havre. I love Agricola.
As do I.
I just love the I love stuff that Uwe puts out, and apparently I love feeding my workers because that's
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Uwe loves a
Yeah.
feeding worker mechanic.
well, it's
Yeah, I also want to go Uwe as well.
Really?
Partially because of what I'm going to say on this list, but yes.
Ooh,
all right.
okay.
Whoa,
Nice.
someone guess what game that is.
That's a
It's not
teaser,
hard.
folks.
Oh,
Sum it up.
that's
Sum it up.
That's a good
Okay,
one. and I'm
I-
really
I-
mad
yeah.
didn't
I know
put
an
that on my
entry.
list.
Yeah.
I'm
Aha.
really mad I didn't put that on my list.
Nice.
I did not consider any Uwe games for this list, like
Wow.
whatsoever. And
Well, we will get
Oh.
to talk about it when I bring it up.
Yep.
that's
All right.
atrocious.
Uwe
atrocious
is, yeah,
for-
you know,
for me.
as much as I love all the tile lane, I'm still going to go with Feld just because of Castle Burgundy.
Yeah.
Upcost Games,
That's fair.
GIF or GIF?
GIF. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. I don't care if the creator of the format says it's GIF. He's wrong.
Yeah.
It's
The
a GIF,
audience
yeah,
has
GIF.
spoken.
I agree.
Thank you.
It's
I agree.
It's
absurd.
a G.
It's a
It's
G.
a G,
Yeah.
not a
Yes.
J.
Yes. Like you don't. I say Ruel Gaviola, not
Yeah.
Ruel Javiola.
Well, it's also not a Jaffix information
Right.
file. It's a graphics
Graphics.
information
Thank
file.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, we've
Yep.
settled that debate
Yep.
right there, folks.
Completely agree.
Sailnet says
100%.
iPhone or Android.
Droid.
Android here.
iPhone reluctantly, because that's what I have. That's all I've ever known. I'm trapped in my own prison of my own making.
That's fair. Yeah, I have an Android as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
I just got a new phone. the
I
other day.
did just discover there's one thing I'm kind of jealous about with iPhones. Their built-in Apple Maps, one of the options for it is fewest turns
Oh, for the map.
for the directions it
I
gives
didn't
you.
know that.
Because the number of times stupid Google Maps said, and when we're in a 30-foot RV, you know, trying to go through some squirrely little subdivision because, that was
Yeah.
0.3, that would save you 37 seconds is a freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
And so why, Google, have you not put easiest path or fewest turns as an option?
Yeah. They should literally have that option. Like if you're driving an RV, here's here's your directions.
Yep.
You know. Hamalock
Yeah.
says chicken salad or tuna salad.
Ugh.
I'm a chicken salad type of guy, folks. I enjoy both, but I'd go chicken salad, I believe.
Yeah, I'd go chicken as well.
I don't want rabbit
No,
food with
tuna salad.
my meat. So.
Give me tuna salad all day.
Tuna salad's good.
yeah.
Oh, does it keep jumping on you?
It keeps jumping on me. Yeah. Let's see. Chicken salad, D&D, or Powered by the Apocalypse.
I don't understand.
Don't make me. Don't.
Oh, apparently
this is a
Apocalypse
question
like
for
a
Ray.
system
By the
like
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go D&D.
Okay,
Oh,
so
all
I
right.
don't. This is so hard for me. It's so hard for me because I love D&D. I really, really do. I DM a lot for D&D. I like being dungeon master. That's like one of my favorite things in the world. But I have been playing in a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse stuff lately as a player. And man, as a player, those systems are so
just so
fluid
simple.
and so
Yeah.
open. And I'm such a chaotic role player. When I'm at the table as a player, I like to just go completely rogue. And that system caters to that more. So I'm gonna cop out and say play Powered by the Apocalypse, DM D&D.
Oh.
That's
think that's a
that's my
cop-out.
answer.
Oh,
Which
okay.
which of the two would you recommend for first timers? For
Recommend
newbies?
Powered by the Apocalypse,
Powered by the
100%.
Apocalypse.
D&D
Really?
has
Sure.
such a learning curve problem.
Okay.
It's, I mean, for board gamers who it's not that hard, but boy, it's having such a pop culture resurgence moment, and I'm like gnawing at the bit, being like, please start anywhere else but D&D. If you want to get into TTRPGs,
Really?
reading, like picking up the player's handbook, opening it up. If you've never played a role-playing game before, you're gonna hate it unless you have someone holding your hand teaching
Right.
how to do it. It's
Got it.
overwhelming. There's so much stuff. I when I DM, I cut out a ton of mechanics. I'm like, we don't need these. But new players don't know to do that. So pick a rules light TTRPG system when you're learning, please. You'll like it so much more. And then you can do D&D and fight beholders and stuff once you
Nice.
like get used to the concept. Sorry, I could talk about this forever.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
100% with
Very
you.
passionate
I'm
about this.
100% with you.
Okay, cool. I'm glad.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, Chris, your time to shine. Roll and write. You've had time, 5 minutes to think about this. Roll and write or party game?
I gotta pick both.
Easy.
Oh,
Not allowed. Not allowed.
I couldn't pick too much stress. Roll and write for sure
Yeah.
for me.
Ooh. What? Wait, what? Richard and Ruel, what are your answers?
like my gut reaction is roll and write, but then I think about all the great times I've had with party games, and with the holiday coming up, it's party game time, so that's on my
true,
mind.
Yeah.
But final answer, I'm gonna go with roll and write.
Yep. Party games are terrible for two. So roll and write for me, please.
2 player, yeah.
I
that's right.
am
But-
on an island. Do y'all hate fun? What is
Yes.
happening?
Yes.
What's going on?
We're barely
Oh, God, I
tolerating
love
you
party
as it
games.
is.
Do you hate fun? Oh, that's the theme for this
Oh,
show,
man.
folks. Do you hate fun?
Do you hate, sounds like it, man.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Richard, you
Yeesh.
can, according to the song, you can have a party for two.
All right.
Oh,
There you go.
nice. Goblin asks wizard or sorcerer.
I assume that means as an RPG playable character.
Yeah, I'm just.
Ooh,
I'm
what's
Wizard. I like
what
to
is the
be-
difference?
what is the difference?
So
between-
it,
Put on your geek hat,
I don't.
DM.
So in D&D, it's about like how you get your magic. So there's several different spell classes in D&D. Wizards are book learners. So they're
Okay.
people who have decided, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to read this book till I learn a spell. A sorcerer is someone who's like kind of like if you think about like the Harry Potter system, right? Like my parents were magical, I'm magical.
Ah.
It's hereditary. You're
Ah.
born with, or I think maybe there's some subclasses where you just magically you have powers, but it's a thing you just have as
Mhm.
opposed to book learning. And then there's warlocks who get their powers from some sort of eldritch pact or some sort of patron has said, you do this for me, I'll give you magic.
Well,
That's
just
the
based on your
differentiating.
description,
And then
then,
druids get their power from trees.
Yeah,
That's
druids
the
are like
quick-
the nature folks.
Yeah.
but I guess druids would still be closer to wizards then, right? Because it's not innate to them; they have to learn it.
I don't know. That's beyond me. All I know is that it's like their devotion to nature gives them magic.
I bet they
That
got it
one-
out
I
of a
would think
book,
you
though.
need that connection, right? You'd need that connection to the
Yeah.
like how many you don't see druids sitting reading a book in the forest. No, they're
I
touching the
think
trees.
it's more
and
like
they're
sorcerers. It's like this,
Yeah.
like because of their who they are and what they do, they are given magic because they're devoted to nature.
Okay.
Well, I gotta say, down with
But-
chosen ones. I'm all wizard.
I was gonna say,
I'm
yeah.
100%.
No,
on
me
board
too.
with
That's why I
wizard
picked
now.
wizard as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those
sure.
sorcerers can hit the bricks, pal.
Yeah. Hey, Mrs.
I
Gab
picked
picked
sorcerer
20.
because
Oh,
it
you're going
just seems
sorcerer?
like less homework.
Oh,
less homework. I just
of
have
course,
it.
Chris.
You have to
Oh, yeah.
earn
Yeah.
it.
What? Okay, yeah, I can just have magic powers, or I just like have to spend hours and hours learning it. No, I'll just take the magic powers and then spend those hours playing board games. Thanks very much.
Mrs. Gab 2020 asks
Completely
Meeple or
tracks.
Mookie. This is directly for Richard.
Oh my god.
He just met our pugs, Meeple and Mookie, and
Yeah, and they are a handful. They
You
are
can
a
only
pick
force of
one.
you
nature.
can only pick one.
I'm gonna have
And
to
the
go.
other one is getting adopted.
Now I'm sad.
It's leaving Ruel's house.
I believe the bigger one, which is
Mookie.
Mookie, I believe.
Yeah, Mookie's the bigger one.
Mookie.
Yeah.
Mookie and I bonded.
Yeah.
Um,
Meeples, she needs time.
Yes.
Yeah. Sea Otter, folks, Halloween or Christmas? I'm a Christmas guy.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Oh, Halloween.
Candy for a day
I
or
gotta go
presents
with-
that you'll have
Oh.
cherish for years? No brainer.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're both real good.
One-
they are great.
My gut says Halloween, though, because
Okay.
candy for a day. I'm in for candy for a
It's
day.
societally acceptable to scare
You realize your
children.
gift at
That's
Christmas
like-
could be candy. So Christmas
Yeah.
ticks your Halloween box implicitly.
It could, but it's probably not gonna be. It's
But
probably
it's gonna be
like
crappy
a
peppermint
sweater.
candy. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna be like a sweater or socks or something that I now
Socks.
Yeah.
could have buy
You'd much
myself.
rather have a mouthful of candy corn. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if you have that in the Great White North, the candy corn.
we do. It's just as awful here.
Cosmic Ben says breakfast for dinner or dinner for breakfast. I'm gonna
Oh.
say this right
Oh.
off. I love breakfast for dinner. Give me some
Me
pancakes.
too.
It's one of my favorite
Mm.
things in the world. So breakfast for dinner.
Yeah,
That's it. I don't even care what anyone else has to say. Oh, breakfast for dinner.
I do actually agree.
It's the objectively right answer. That's
Yeah,
fine.
thank you.
And honestly, we do that a lot on the road because
Right.
with a little propane stove, the easiest thing is just to fry some eggs and bacon
There you
any
go.
time of the day or night, rather than having to do something a little bit more
Yeah.
elaborate.
That does sound like
Yeah.
heaven right there.
Yep.
That is.
Well, and nobody's gonna wake up and first thing go, I'd love a delicious hearty stew. Like, no.
There is one exception: cold leftover pizza, obviously.
Oh yeah.
No,
I
no,
love-
no.
Oh,
My
no?
mom does that. It does make any sense. No.
Oh.
For breakfast?
Yeah.
Of course.
Cold pizza. See, Michelle.
Well,
doesn't-
God,
Even
I
in
am-
college.
Michelle doesn't like that at all. Like I love cold pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be cold. You can eat it up, but leftover pizza. I think
Leftover
Madness.
it's hot or cold
For
is
sure.
the same.
There's no source of heat in the morning. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, we're getting close on time here. Why don't we
Okay.
go for a couple of other ones real quick before we get out of here? Thank you again, friends, for hanging out with us. Are there any that we missed? I don't think so. We've got a
Were we
bunch of
caught
people
up?
talking about Halloween. Got a lot of Halloween fans in chat.
So I see black licorice or candy corn is just down a little bit.
Oh, black liquor. Oh.
Neither.
I would take
Licorice.
both and throw them in the trash,
Yeah.
folks. But
I
Yeah.
like candy. Candy corn is fine.
really,
It's not bad. It's fine.
yeah,
I mean,
Michelle,
black licorice
I had
is
some recently. It's okay.
is
But
horrific.
it's not good.
yeah, oh man,
I'd go black licorice. I could stomach black licorice before candy corn, though.
Really?
really.
Like,
I think I'd rather have
like,
my
if I
tongue
had
ripped
to
out.
eat,
Yeah,
4 to 7 buckets of black licorice versus 4 to 7 buckets of candy corn. Yeah, I'd probably pick the black licorice.
yeah.
Oh, we've missed it a couple of times. Chicken Free Cage is asking eggs or waffles.
Oh, eggs or waffles.
Eggs.
Eggs?
Eggs are versatile,
eggs.
but waffles.
Yeah,
100%.
eggs are definitely more versatile. Oh man, waffles are so delicious.
Give me those carbs.
But what do you want? Do you want a straight egg or do you want a straight waffle? with no accoutrement.
Oh,
with no proof.
Cooked.
no accoutrement.
Cooked.
I'll go with a waffle. Dang it.
Well, you want a raw waffle.
Well, I mean, it's cooked.
Yeah, but no
Yeah, do
butter,
you want
no
scrambled eggs or do
syrup,
you want-
no
or do you want just
jam, no
waffle batter?
cream, no nothing.
Man, again, I think I'm just rip my tongue out at that point. I'd rather have,
Damn.
man, just give me the waffle.
Give me
yeah, final answer.
Give me a cup of waffle batter for dinner. That's all I need. Slurp that down.
Yeah. And thank you, Tiffany. Yes, art eggs
needs
in waffles.
milkshakes?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, that's a very
Much smarter
Yep,
person
yep,
than me. Yeah.
yep.
Okay, folks. Thank you for hanging out. We've done the this or that. Now
All right, a double.
We did a double in honor of Ray being our special guest here. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna record a show, folks. You're gonna see it live. You're gonna see us talk about our top 12 food games.
Yes.
And this
have
is
my
the
list?
definitive list. This is it right here.
Yep.
Chris will start things off, and then we are gonna do a little intro. We are gonna shut down. Well, not gonna shut down. We are gonna be quiet. We're not gonna interact with the audience.
Are you
as
gonna?
much.
Are you gonna?
I miss you guys.
Oh, why are you hitting me?
I love you.
Because I'm trying
Goodbye.
to battle royale you.
Oh, Battle Royale. Oh, Richard's punching my arms, folks. I'm like, what is going on here? It's the Battle Royale. In chat, folks, you get to battle each other to see who reigns supreme. And you'll be here in just a second, folks. See,
But
I hear it.
but
Can you
also,
hear it?
I hear
honestly, chat.
Where is it?
I don't have Twitch
where
open,
are
so I
you?
don't know. Let us know if you can hear the music. But I'm going to talk over that. Chat, tell me funny things though to say,
Yes.
and then I'll say them during the recording of YouTube, and then I'll take credit for all of your funniness and intelligence.
No music, beat
That's what
drums.
I like to do during the streams is read the chat and then go, oh, it's weird.
Which one
I
is
just
it?
had this random thought, and then take credit for all of your funny jokes.
Oh, I know why it is. Folks, I'm sorry there's no music. After this stream is over, I will fix Royal's machine. There will be Battle Royale, Star Trek, Alexander Courage awesomeness next week. I promise. But in the meantime, it's coming down to me. I'm out. All right. Well, you and also
Who's
I
smashing
will
each
make
other?
him
Stand to
make the
people.
names bigger, so it's easy to see everybody's name
I did
too.
it bigger last time.
Yeah.
Let me see. We'll just full screen it. There you
There
go.
we go. Bing! Get him, Bing!
Oh, go Bing.
Oh, Bing, you are a loser.
No! Tragic.
Yep.
Kim Manuel.
Congratulations, Kim Manulant.
Kim Manuel.
You
Kim
are
Manuel.
the wiener.
Well done. All
All
right.
right.
Thanks for
That's
hanging
some
out,
shenanigans
folks.
right there.
Yes.
Yes.
That is some big time
All righty.
shenanigans. Okay. So now.
So
I will
close
be
and
here.
yet so far, Bing. So close.
What do I do? Put this
All right.
over here.
All right. Yes, you're changing what we're doing. There we go. Save.
I hope
Please
this
work
works.
text.
Yes,
Yes.
it worked. But wait, the real test is we're going to go to this other scene real quick, folks, to
All right.
make sure this works. Yes, it works. There's a spoiler
Okay.
for you. By the way.
Spoiler for one of them.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was
Kimberly
me.
Tolson is our favorite food source. Yay!
Human flesh.
Yes, exactly. Just in
And
time for the holidays.
zombie games are on the menu. My favorite foodie game is Zombicide.
Oh
where
God,
you
could
get
we
to
have
be
done
the
that? Could we have,
food.
Oh,
could we have done like the Donner Party board game or something? I'd
Oh
love to
yeah,
have
that's
that.
a real missed
Oh,
opportunity.
total
and
missed
I'm
opportunity,
kicking
folks.
myself
God, I should have done
more
that.
Yes.
than missing out on Uwe. That would have been really funny.
Would have been great.
All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this episode is going to be sponsored by the Op. Thanks to Ray for being here. Ray, is there anything you want us to queue up? Because we're going to start the show, and then we're going to throw to you, and you're going to say, "Yeah, the Op is awesome." And is that it? Or
I don't have anything. I didn't have anything prepared to queue up. I'll just, if you don't mind, I'll talk about art project coming out.
Cool.
When will this air? Because I can talk about Black Friday deals
Tomorrow.
and such. Okay, perfect.
I mean, it's
So
it's
that'll
airing right
be-
now, of course, on Twitch, but it'll be on YouTube tomorrow.
YouTube
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I'll just chat.
Would
That's
you
what
like Would you like an image to be on screen while you're chatting, or just a web page?
Sure.
Or
Or
Geek the Art Project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go to our website.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
looks
Do you
like
have
maybe-
Do you have a Black Friday page on your website, for example?
The sales aren't up yet. I'm
Arr.
gonna be giving you the sneak peek of what will be up.
Mm.
But yeah, if you go to our website, we've got beautiful banners for Aqua and the art project that you
Just
can
go to
kind
the
of
nice.
toggle up and
Look at
look
it. That's beautiful.
Perfect.
Put that on
Isn't
the
that
screen.
gorgeous?
Yeah.
It sounds beautiful. I can't wait
So
to see
Get
it
rid of
one
the
day.
10% off. That yeah.
There you
Look at that. Look at those. Aren't those?
Are they
beautiful?
just gonna cycle in the background while she's talking? Do you think, or do you have to?
go. Oh, I have to manually press the little buttons.
Right.
You
But
can,
you can just
pull up
push the
art
buttons
project.
every 10 seconds.
Yeah, you can pull up that art project page if you want. There's a really pretty, if you scroll down a little bit, because that's the one you can get right now.
Okay.
Aqua and
Oh,
Gnome Hollow, it's just a tease for the future. But yeah,
okay.
look at that.
How's this look right here? If we say
That was fine.
Good.
That was great.
Okay.
All right.
And
Yeah.
it seems like we've got a very special code in the chat. Chicken says use code Ray's Robbery for 100% off Black Friday. Try it out. It might work.
Do it.
Who
Nice.
knows?
It might tomorrow.
Okay. So yeah, folks, stick around. We will be doing our list, and then at the end, we're gonna hang out, do a post show, talk about some of the games that didn't make the list, and so forth. So, without further ado, Richard, are we ready to go?
Yeah, I guess I'll do the intro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
course.
Alrighty. Hey everybody! This week's episode of the R&R&R Show is brought to you by the Op.
And wow, hello. Look, there's 4 of us today,
Yes.
folks, here on the R&R Show, and not only 4 of us, but you are here live in person in my house, literally in the house.
Not via the magic of video, as you so often like to say.
Exactly.
And every time you say it, I always think it's actually pre-recorded video. I mean, but yes,
But it's still magical.
Not
Yep,
the
it
more
is magical,
Yeah.
but not as being as magical as being stuffed into Ruel's very cozy, let's say,
Small.
filming room.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we are on the road driving from the Pacific Northwest to the southern tip of Baja, Mexico, and then heading back home. And if we were in LA, I had to stop for my favorite person in the world,
Aw.
and Ray specifically. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply anything else.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
more sense. Yeah.
Oh well.
Because it's not just me, folks. It's Ray from the Op who is sponsoring this episode. Hi, Ray. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super honored to be here.
We are incredibly happy to have you. Tell us about the Op. You're a recent transplant. You're in charge of the digital media, I believe.
Yes, yeah. So my title is digital content coordinator. Fancy way of saying I do social media. So if you talk to us on socials, that's me. And I also make video content and do various like streaming things like this. If there's a camera, I'm probably the one involved in it somehow. You can catch our videos that I make on TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm brand new to the company. I'm super excited. We were chatting before the pre-show that the Op is sort of in their hobby era in 2024. So
Yes.
this is like the perfect time for me to be joining this company, having come from like the hobby space in my prior work. So I'm super pumped to be here. Some of the stuff going on at the Op right now, we have so many things. I gave the full explanation during the pre-show, so you can check that out. But the highlights, in my opinion, are that the art project is finally available in the US. If you were keeping up with SN coverage, this was a big hit at SN. I think it was even on I think it was one of Ruel's most anticipated games of
Oh, yeah, it
2023.
was.
I went back and,
Yeah.
and did my research before the stream.
Nice.
So you don't just take my word for it. Ruel was excited for it as well. This is our cooperative game where you are players who are trying to save art that has been stolen by this mysterious organization called the White Hand. So you're going around trying to reclaim this art that has been stolen, hence the art project. It's the art rescue team. This is a fantastic cooperative game that hits that perfect middle ground of being super easy to learn. The mechanics are very straightforward, but it's quite the challenge. You have to communicate really well with your other players. It's pretty hard to quarterback, which is one of my biggest pet peeves in co-op games. So I love games that have clever ways of sort of getting around that, which is fantastic. And yeah, this is out in the US. I'm super, super excited for that. And then depending on if this releases tomorrow, we will have Black Friday sales up. The
Nice.
Op. Yeah, so we are going into our hobby era, as I like to say, but the Op, I think, really shines with party games. We have such a fantastic lineup of party games, including Blank Slate, Hues and Cues, Tapple. We've got a ton of them. If you follow us on social media, I've been talking a lot about how great those games are to bring home for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Anytime that you go home and you've got a big group of people and there's a variety of ages, some of them maybe like board games, but a lot of them probably don't, maybe can't really grasp more than a handful of rules at a time. The Op party games are such a great place to go for that. And we're having a big sale on our party games for Black Friday. It's buy one, get one, 50% off. So if you're looking to bring some games home for the holidays, I highly recommend. I've been playing Blank Slate at my family's Thanksgiving for every single year since it came out. It's so perfect for a big group of people with a variety of ages and skill levels. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
that's what we've got going on. And also just watch this space for 2024. We've got mad hobby games coming out next year. I'm so excited.
Watch
Awesome.
the pre-show. She talks about it a bit. Folks, I'm going to put a link down in the show notes to get jump directly to that Black Friday sale page. And I can say, having just come from Funicon, a recent convention up in Oregon, everybody I played the art project with really loved it. It is a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Really, really sharp and gorgeous art from Vincent Dutray. Just a real eye grabber too.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm so glad people enjoyed it. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But Ro, what are we here to do?
We are here to talk about our top 12 foodie games.
Yes.
And these are games that I've been really excited to talk about because I'm a foodie. I know a lot of y'all who watch these are as well. And I'm excited to see what everyone's come up with. And we talked a little bit on the pre-show. Again, click on the link below to see the pre-show. Richard's got some games that apparently no one else has heard
I
of,
guarantee none of these
Challenge.
other people will have heard of at least 2, if not all 3 of mine.
Yeah. Very
He made
excited.
them himself.
Yes,
That's right.
They're just all Richard premiering. Oh, I have this game called Bowl Full of Sausage.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Actually, that sounds pretty good.
That
I
sounds
would be
good.
down for that one.
I'd play that game.
Chris, why don't we kick things off with our number 12, my friend?
All right, number 12 comes to me. I get to start the list off, and so this is sort of a quick filler game that the food theme doesn't really come forward that much.
Mm.
You could do it with anything, but it's a play on the typical scoring condition of some board games, and that's point salad.
Sure.
Point salad.
Nice.
I had
Good
to throw
pick.
it on here. It's such a good game. It's so cheap. It's like $20 or less, and it's very simple. On your turn, you take 2 cards. That's it. You're taking a bunch of different salad items that you can put into your salad, or you can take 1 card, and that's a scoring condition, and then you just try to get these salad accoutrements, as they were, to put into your scoring condition and get the most points. Goes by super quickly. You can't really plan ahead because things are always in flux and flipping over, and if I'm like 3 turns down the line, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to look and see what's on my turn, grab some veggies, hope I get the most points. Plays super quickly, but it's so satisfying. Plays well at all the player counts as well. It's just a great game.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree. I think it is a fantastic title, which I'm sure is not what longtime fans of the show would be expecting. But I guess when I'm actually talking to Chris face to face, I can no longer talk trash about his choices since I'm no longer here through the magic of video.
We'll keep our fingers crossed that I make some horrible decisions later on in the episode.
I imagine so. But I gotta say, it is a sharp game, and you're right, it is kind of abstract, but I think the food does come forward. And if I didn't hate rabbit food on my plate, I could certainly see it being engaging for the theme as well, for the variety of all the different vegetables that are available. I mean, personally, I prefer the sequel Point City, but that has nothing to do with food. So I think a pretty good choice.
Yeah,
I assume
doesn't
everybody
belong
else has
on the
played
list.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, great game. This is one that I usually have in my
You're on
little
my
quiver case when I go to family parties or whatever. It's one that comes out a lot.
Yeah.
And again, very simple to get to the table. It takes 2 minutes to explain, and you're right into the game. And it's cute. I mean, it flows really well. And as Chris mentioned, it plays well at all player counts. All you have to do is take out a certain number of cards for each player.
Yeah. One thing I will add to it, though, if you're going to play it as a 2-player game, it can get pretty cutthroat. I have
that's
found.
true.
The hate drafting in that game is high. I could really mess up your day.
You're right.
So that's something to bear in mind as well. But at a higher player count, that wouldn't matter because really you're more grabbing what I need as opposed to denying you what you want. Because I can see, oh wow, you've been all about those peppers for the whole game. It'd be a real shame if that card disappeared and I just,
Yeah.
Great pick, Chris.
It's
Yeah,
just
Point
so
salad is
solid.
great.
Like,
It
it's
is.
I also
just
just
so
love the
solid.
name.
Yeah.
I love that it's kind of
It's very
meta.
clever.
Like for most people, it means nothing, but if you're a board gamer, it's like, oh, that's clever. I love
Yeah.
that somebody
Yeah.
went there and did that.
Yeah, you're so right, Ray. I love that little, gamer nod. Like, hey, it's point salad. Like when I first heard of the game, I was thinking, oh, is this a Stefan Feld game? But no, it was not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also too, in terms of the card count, if you don't like the first time I played it, we just used all the cards because I was like, oh, I didn't read the part where you're going to take out the cards, and so we just had a longer game, and it was completely fine. You know what I mean? So I just love games that are just like our scores were very high, and I've never had a high score like that ever again because I was playing with every card in the deck. But it's still like it still works, right? Like I love
Yeah.
when the core of the game remains so consistent that even if you do make like even a setup mistake, you still get a great experience.
Yeah.
And that to me is like
Oh,
a,
that's a
a
great
really
point.
great game.
Yeah.
Totally.
Nice. Okay. Let's move on to our number 11. Thank you for that, Chris. In our combined list of things here, we're at number 11. So I'm going to be choosing for the group. This one, I feel like the theme really comes out in this game. And I'm just going to get right to it. I'm not going to mess around. We are talking about New York Slice, and that's our friend Mike
good
Murphy
one.
from the Brothers Murphy.
Oh,
This
good
is
one.
a classic I split you choose game,
Yeah.
and look at this. I mean, it looks delicious. I mean, I love anchovies as well, but it's a I split you choose, and you're gonna literally split up the pizza, and there's different point values, and you're gonna go for different things depending on what the variable goals are in the game. So you can have like, hey, you want to collect veggies or whatever for this, and you're gonna hopefully score the most points. And I love the fact that it is I split you choose because it's so perfectly thematic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good at what it does. I love the mechanism I split you choose, and I just love the theme because I'm a big pizza fan. So of course I'm going to love New York Slice. That's our choice for number 11.
I think that's an excellent choice as well. I forget, was it New York Slice that came out first, or the cake pie slicing one?
The cake came out first, and the New York Slice redid it.
Was the
Yes.
remake of it?
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
Yeah, which means
Better
it's the
theme.
better one. So it's the one you should seek out
Yeah.
because
Totally.
I'm sure they learned lessons in the development of
they
it.
did. Yeah. It's another game that plays well all the way, I think, up to 6 players. And just like Point Salad, you bring this out, it's like, oh my gosh, it looks like a pizza, and it's super easy to teach. Like, you're just gonna, hey, you want to collect the most points, but at the same time, you're gonna have to split it enough to where everyone gets, a slice of the pie, literally. And it's like, oh, do I want to keep these or do I want to give up these? Classic I split you choose conundrum, as you will.
I gotta say, my problem with the game is it's not you, Pizza Slice, it's me. There is probably no mechanism in all of board gaming that makes Jen just curl up into a ball of indecision because of the whole nature of this is right. I get to choose what everybody gets, and I get last dibs on all the the collections I made here. What am I going to do? Because you want that. You clearly want that. Oh, I can't let you have that, but I need that and the other. And so analysis paralysis can really ensue, even in a quick, simple little one like this. But yeah, if you're not put off by that, it is a brilliant design and literally mouth-watering to look at it set up on the table as well.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's making me hungry right now. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
same.
It's like, get that video off the screen. I'm gonna have to order delivery. We're in the middle of the video. It's gonna come.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was our number 11. Now let's move on to the number 10 on the list, and our special guest Ray is going to bring us in for number 10.
So it's so funny because we don't pick the order that these show up, and it's so funny that this is the first one I'm talking about because here I am trying to like appeal to Rado's audience, right? An audience that likes their, like slightly crunchier, medium to heavyweight games. And I'm coming out with a game called Yum Yum Island, which I'm sure no one has heard.
I've heard of it.
I swear.
I've never heard of this game.
There it is. Look at her in all her glory. So there's a story behind this game that I'll talk about later. But first of all, what is this game?
I'm just looking at this. What is this?
I already love it. I already want it. I
Look at
immediately
this.
want it.
This looks awesome.
Look at right. There's so much. So this game has deep lore for me personally, but what you are looking at is Yum Yum Island. The lore behind Yum Yum Island is that it's an island populated with various zoo animals, apparently. And then one day, a giant man comes. Where does the man come from? We don't know, but here he is, and he's eating all the food, and the animals are starving and dying because this man is eating all the food on Yum Yum Island. So they call you, and only you, to fly in and airdrop food to these animals so they don't shrivel up and die.
Wow.
That's our story. Mechanically, what you do when it's your turn, you put on, it's a cooperative game, you put on a very crappy paper blindfold that will just give you paper cuts on your face. It's awesome. Put on paper blindfolds. And what you have to do is blindfolded, you have to reach into this like container of these you saw those little pink and green pieces. Those are the food. You're going to try, first of all, you have to navigate blindfolded to that tray. You then have to airdrop it into the animals' mouths. You cannot ever touch the table or touch the animals. You have to remember and memorize where their little open mouths are up to the sky. You have to remember where those are and drop them in.
Oh,
You'll
wow.
roll a die, and that will determine whether or not your friends can help you or not. So sometimes it's everyone screaming slightly different variations of the same basic instruction at you, or it's everyone just sort of like holding their breath, not able to say anything, watching you blindfolded try to drop these cubes into the mouths of these animals. That is Yum Yum Island. I discovered this game at Origins, I think like 2 years ago, and I have to give credit where credit is due. This game is now synonymous in my mind with Charlotte, or Alone Shark from the board gaming community.
Oh, yeah.
She picked this up out of like a $1 bargain bin at Origins. Was like, what is this? And what initially caught her eye is that some of those animals look kind of odd, kind of like something else. I think it's a kid's game, so I think it's unintentional, but some of those animals there were weird art decisions made in this game, and she's like, I gotta know what's up with this. And she just brought it around to every gaming meetup that weekend, and it just spread like wildfire. And I got the pleasure of playing it Saturday night of Origins, which if you've ever worked a show, there's a special type of exhaustion and loopiness that kicks in the Saturday night in particular of a show. And it was just, we had the most fun. My hands were shaking from carrying around my filming setup all day. So I'm like trying to drop them in. We're trying to yell at each other over the buzz of this like convention free play area that we're in. We're like, no, a little bit more left. Everyone was like crowding around the table being like, what is going on here? It was just one of those games that just slowly attracted more and more people. You look so doofy with those paper goggles on. It's become the stuff of legends for me at conventions. Wow. Charlotte will always, if you ever see Charlotte at a show, she's got a copy on her at all times. It's become this massive meme. So I couldn't not put it on this list. But I think it's mostly for families. And I think it actually would be a really great family game. Or if you're, a slightly loopy adult like myself. Yeah. I went to try to validate my choice of this by like looking up if anyone had reviewed this game, because I had never heard of it before. I stumbled upon a Dice Tower review of it, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. Watching it, Tom Vassel's talking about how much he loves it. I'm like, oh, this is great. I feel less crazy. And then, at the end of Dice Tower videos where they lay out all the components and they do the gavel of like whether or not it's approved, and Tom goes, Yum Yum Island, kid approved. I was like, I guess we're all just, never mind. So Yum Yum Island, kid and Ray approved. Nice. I love this game very, very much.
Oh, what a choice to start things off, Ray. That's great.
I had to.
I totally need to play this.
Yeah,
you have to.
Yes.
I'm bringing it to PAX. Come find me. It's tradition at this point.
And honestly, I'm a huge fan, wherever possible, more gateway family games that are cooperative, please.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Playing some variant of Sorry does not bring people together. Like, working together towards something. Wow.
Exactly. And it's really fun with that blindfold. If you like nyctophobia, you like the idea of playing with your different senses in a game, but you don't like the spooky, scary nature of nyctophobia, but you want to try to do something like a little bit different like that, where, you're losing some senses. It's a lot of fun. I would recommend bringing your own blindfold, because the one in the box is very painful and uncomfortable.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Nice.
But yeah, I love this game, and I will talk about it till the day I die.
Yeah, I bring my own blindfold anywhere I go.
So. Of course, yeah.
Of course, Chris is always prepared.
Yeah, Chris has learned the hard way. Let's just leave it at that. That you should always bring your own blindfold. BYOB.
You always got to bring your own blindfold.
Exactly.
I don't think this should be number 10, because I think it should be number 1.
There we go. I convert already.
That's
there you go.
Confident. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's move on to number 9. Richard.
Hi, everybody. Well, first of all, I should say, for me, there are so many great food games out there that I could have talked about, and I think these are all good choices so far. To limit myself, I really wanted to focus on games that was about food prep, and really just getting you more connected with the food, making it and then serving it and consuming it. So the ones I'm talking about do that. And I'm going to start with my crunchiest of them. This is a relatively interesting meaty Euro. It is called Consumption, Food and Choices. And this is a game that I covered in prototype form many, many years ago, back when I was in Malta, and it's gotten even better since then. But the interesting thing about this game is it was actually designed by a real-world nutritionist, a nutrition scientist. Oh. And she wanted to use the design of this to get people thinking about different diets and their effects on your body. So at its heart, what we're trying to do is just live a good, balanced meal life. And interestingly, the game doesn't really cast judgment. It says, well, hey, do you want to go paleo? Do you want to go vegan? I mean, these are just what the choices you'll have to make and the effects they will have on your body. And there's actually a few different mini games in here. One of the coolest ones is me showing it, setting up right there, is this is actually also a supermarket shopping simulation. Because at the beginning of every round, you put all the different foods in this supermarket, and it's got this very, very cool dice-driven draft to let you get the right types of ingredients to put together. Because over on the right, you can see, hey, there's a bunch of cookbooks, which are a bunch of different cards representing all kinds of different meals from different categories. And so you've got, I mean, this is literally a recipe fulfillment game. And you're trying to grit the right ingredients to make the right type, but each player has their own very, very unique board talking about how they are going to focus on, the different, whether you're going to focus on grains or fruits and vegetables or meat. And it's a really, really engaging game. Incredibly thematic, surprisingly crunchy, and again, driven by real science. The game definitely aims to, inform as much as it does to entertain, and I think it does both really well. And I was really impressed by the prototype I played a long time ago. It eventually got picked up, and if you watch my original run through, I'm just saying it has changed since then and gotten even better and a bit more streamlined and smooth playing. But I still think it's one of the most impressive games for what it attempts to do and what it succeeds at: consumption, food, and choices.
Wow, I'd never heard of this game.
Yeah.
And this totally piqued my interest. The fact that it was done by an actual nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. So after you played, did you feel like you learned something?
I think so. Yeah. Actually, some of the design elements that are in the final, I know came from me too, because I did give her some feedback when I was covering the prototype.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've got a soft spot for the game in my heart as well. But yeah, it's really. I highly recommend it. It's, what is it, number 9 on the list. All right.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
love games that try to incorporate real science. I think
Yeah.
that's the coolest thing. The only thing that stuck out to me was the title is kind of on consumption.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
talked to her about that.
I thought it was about like the old-timey name for tuberculosis.
That's
Yeah,
totally.
Like the consumption.
I
I
played the
thought it was going to be
prequel.
plague.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I
played
thought
the
for
prequel,
sure.
Consumption, Plague, and Taxes, but I haven't played this version.
It's entirely reasonable, and I talked to her about that too, and I'm sure the publisher talked to her about it also. But
I mean, it's kind of cool because it is like this I guess if it is a really sciencey, crunchy, consumption is like
Yeah.
the scientific term
Yeah.
for like eating. I guess that is, once you see it on the box, it makes sense. But hearing it, I was like, how
Yeah,
is this?
totally.
Where's this one going?
Yep.
Yeah, totally fair.
But it looks cool.
Yeah, I just love food and choices.
Oh, such a Euro game title.
Yeah, very much so.
Why don't we go on to our number 8? Chris, it's back to you.
That's me. Okay, well, my next one, people may not associate as a food game, but it's sure got food in it. It's the only food that I can think about in this game, rather than the other little bits that you're doing, probably just extraneous. But you're feeding your guests, and your guests are hungry. They're hungry for wine. They're hungry for coffee. They're hungry for strudel.
All right,
and
everybody
they're hungry for
pause
cakes.
and write down in the comments, based on that description, what game is he about to talk about.
I
think
thought it was a different game, but now I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought I had an
same.
idea, but
the strudel threw you?
Do we know?
definitely
The
not what
strudel
I'm
totally
thinking.
flew.
All right.
The
Yeah.
strudel.
Yes,
the
exact
strudel's
same.
the key.
Yep.
The
I thought I
strudel's
was
the
on
key.
board.
Yep.
The strudel's the key
Oh,
to put your guests in their different rooms that they'd love to go to, but they have to be well fed before they can go to their red, blue, and yellow rooms.
What is the name of the game, Chris?
This is Grand Austria Hotel.
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
it's a good one.
And I saw on Board Game Geek that there are like some geek up bits of where you can get actual
Yes.
like wooden pieces for like strudel and all the because I was looking up, like, also full disclosure, I forgot that it was called strudel and cake. I knew that there was wine and coffee, and I was like, and there's some other pastries in there. But I figured I should look that up before we talking about it. I love this game so much. It's so good. It's by the great design team behind Lorenzo Magnifico and Golem and all the other stuff that they've done that I'm not mentioning right now because to keep you in suspense.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Yeah, it's so fantastic though. You're competing to have the best hotel. You need to bring hotel guests into your cafe. You need to feed them by getting different resource cubes. then you have to put them in their preference of hotel room as well, building out this grid. And what I think is really exciting about this game is how the actions are determined. You roll a bunch of dice, and you can take a dice, and that will determine your action. But the more dice there are in a category, the stronger that action is. And so if you roll 5 6s and 1 1, yeah, the 1 in any other game, you might be like, okay, I got to take the 1 first because there's 5 6s. I don't have to worry about the 6 action. But you may want the strength of that action instead of that one smaller action, and so having that balance is what I think is so cool. They do sort of dice worker placement or dice action selection in a great way, like Lorenzo does it in a very exciting way too. And yeah, I think this game is so phenomenal, so worth the hype, worth its space on the Board Game Geek Top 100, and it's just super fun. But that's the key thing that I really enjoy about it. And also, of course, the food.
The food.
Of course.
Yep. And here's my problem. The fact that you have to mention that as an afterthought. We are done being complimentary to Chris's choices here.
There it is, folks.
It's not called...
My number one is all food. Don't worry.
It's not called Grand Austria Strudel. It's called Grand Austria Hotel. And it is.
Yeah.
It's probably, I'd be willing to bet, probably my favorite game on this entire list because I love it to pieces. And I thought about it too. And to be fair to you, it is listed under the food category on Board Game Geek. It's one of the highest ones. There is a subcategory on Board Game Geek devoted to food games. And apparently, with your eyebrows raised, you didn't realize that.
I didn't.
So,
I wish I had known that. That would have helped my picks.
It probably would have helped.
Maybe I would have remembered about Uwe.
Yep. But yeah, that would be my only problem. But yeah, you're right. It is a brilliant game with minors in food as opposed to majors.
I have a confession.
I just wanted to talk about it.
Fair enough.
I have a confession. I thought I had played this game. I've always had this mixed up with Lorenzo El Magnifico.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm looking at it, and like, Chris is talking about it. I'm looking
hilarious.
like, this looks really familiar. It's like, no, I've played the other one, which I love, by the way. So again, that has nothing to do with food, but hey, here we are. It's Chris's choice. We don't have to talk about food because he plays fast and loose with the rules.
Yes, he does.
Fast and loose, baby.
Apparently, my message I sent that's on his shelf behind it did not come across clearly.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I thought this was for cutting my strudel and cake. Is that not what this was for? Dang it! I thought you were telling me to put it in.
Classic Chris. Let's move on to our number 7.
Okay.
This is my choice, and
all right.
Once again, I'm going mainly for theme here. I'm really the theme of this really captures the essence of why I think it's for a food game. It is a game number 7 called Kitchen Rush.
And that's how you choose a food game as
you.
opposed to a food adjacent game.
Yes. Folks, you're literally in the kitchen prepping, you're running a restaurant, you're prepping food for your customers. And what I love about this is it's a worker placement game, but those workers are, what are they called? Little sand timers. Yeah. So you place them in different spots and you only have whatever, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it is, to do your moves, and it's brilliant. I love how fast this plays, and it really does capture. I've never worked in the kitchen. I've done like some catering gigs and stuff, but nothing behind the counter there where you're prepping food. And I would imagine it's just as stressful as this. Obviously more stressful. Yep. But as Amy and Maggie did in their run through, you can see there's all kinds of things you do. You get the food from the pantry. You go to the burners. You've got your different pots and pans going, and you have to fulfill orders. You've got to keep those customers happy. And of course, if you wait too long, they're not going to be happy. They're going to leave, and you've lost. You're not going to score points. But Kitchen Rush, folks, I love the theme, and I think it's just brilliant the way they've done it with those sand timers. I thought it was a really slick move.
Yeah,
I've always enjoyed playing
this.
The
meeples are sand timers?
Yes. Yeah, they're all, I think.
That's so cool. That's genius.
Isn't it? Oh, yeah. So, Ray, you need to play this. It's so much fun. And it's a cooperative.
It is a cooperative game,
yes.
So we're all trying to make sure the restaurant doesn't go out of business. And as soon as the timer goes, you can see them starting to play now. You put that timer down, you do the action, and then that timer is locked there for 30 seconds.
Yep.
but players have multiples, and I think there's like a communal one that players can share.
Correct. Yeah.
And yeah, you're between prepping the food, between going out and shopping to get more food because your pantry might go empty, to plating the food, to actually servicing it. It is phenomenal.
So much
really
fun.
good stuff.
Yeah, highly recommend.
It looks like the board game version of Overcooked, which is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
that's
one
a-
line.
that's a
That's all you
great
need to say.
reference.
I'm so on board.
Yeah, that's totally it, Ray. Yep.
Yeah.
I also love seeing Maggie and Amy like rushing around, and then
That's great, yeah.
normally they're so calm and they're just sitting there, but here it's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
God, I love real time games so much. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And, for a real-time game, they captures the theme perfectly. You know, just being that mad rush behind the doors of your own kitchen and restaurant. So much fun. Good stuff.
Yeah, this one's in my personal top 10 food games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Just
Nice.
not my top tier, but
Okay.
still really good.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Sorry, Chris. Did you have thoughts on just?
No. I was saying I probably should pick up a copy.
Oh my gosh, you haven't-
girlfriend and I
yes.
play Overcooked a ton.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Same.
like that. We're 4 stars on pretty much everything in Overcooked.
Humble
Okay,
brag.
no big deal. But if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I just have to go and get a copy of this like immediately after this stream.
Yeah. I think
I'm in the same boat.
I really think you'll
Completely
enjoy it.
agree.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's move back on to number 6, and Ray, we're gonna throw it back to you.
All right, now I'm worried because now Richard's coming for people's choices of if it is
No,
this food
it's
enough
just
or
mine.
not.
It's
Yeah.
just mine.
And this one might be up for contention
All right.
because this is one of those games that could kind of have had any theme.
Okay.
But this is the card shedding bluffing game Spicy, which the food theme is that all the cards are various spicy foods.
Okay.
You've got wasabi, chili, and pepper. And this is sort of like the game Cockroach Poker, but I think it is the superior cousin to Cockroach
Oh,
Poker. I
wow,
used to play
really?
that game a lot. Yes, and I'll talk about that after I've explained what it is, why I like it more than Cockroach Poker. But basically what will happen is there's those 3 suits, as I said, wasabi, chili, pepper. The person who starts has to play a card face down in one of those suits, numbered 1 through 3. And then play goes around clockwise where everyone continues to put a card face down on top of that one. It has to match the suit. So if I played the 1 of wasabi, the person to my left has to also play wasabi of a higher number. And they have to claim this is a 3 wasabi, right? And that play goes around like that. And at any point when someone plays their card, you can put your little paw, as they call it, because there's like tigers. That's what we all are. Don't ask me why, we just are. You put your paw on the stack and you say, you're lying. And you have to call either they're lying on the suit or they're lying on the number. You can't say that's BS. You have to claim either number or suit. And then obviously you're trying to shed your hand and also gain points from, like, if I correctly call your bluff, I get that stack of cards underneath it. And it goes around like that. I like this. I love bluffing games. I love any sort of social deduction thing or anything like that involves reading other people. I really enjoy that as a mechanic. I like this more than Cockroach Poker because in my experience with Cockroach Poker, there's a little bit of an unevenness in play where you can target one person a bunch. And because you get to pick who you go to in Cockroach Poker, I find that dynamic can leave people out or can like really bully one person. This you have to go in clockwise order. And I really like it. I love bluffing games, and the production value on this is also beautiful. All those cards are these beautiful gold foil cards. The little tiger drawings are gorgeous. And yeah, that's Spicy.
All right.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, Ray, I think you're perfectly it's just a perfect statement about how Cockroach Poacher, it can be a little bullyish, right? I mean, you do.
Yeah,
it
it's a
seems like
little.
every game I play of Cockroach Poacher, you're gonna pick on one player. That's just the way it works.
And you can go after the winner
Yeah.
all gang up on them. And I don't like games where the last 10 minutes are just you ganging up on the winner. I don't
Agreed.
enjoy that very much. So
Yeah, and Spicy
Yeah.
definitely. I've enjoyed my games of Spicy as well, and I think you're
Awesome.
perfectly. Yeah, that was a perfect statement about the game. It's really really fun.
yeah, and it's a really great way to like get to know people. I love games like that. I was introduced to this game back when I used to work for CGE. They do this big playtesting retreat where they send everyone out into like the Slovakian mountains to playtest all the games that they're thinking of publishing. And this game is now
Nice.
being distributed in the US through CGE. So we got to play it there, and it was it's a really good way to get to know people. And yeah, I love this type of game. And this is, I think, my favorite in the light card bluffing genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Nice.
remind me, is this a minimum 3-player game, or can you
It
play
must
2?
be, right? It must be.
Yeah.
I think so. Don't quote me on that though. I've only ever played it with like a bunch of people, so I'm
Same.
not
Yeah,
familiar
yeah.
with its
But,
minimum.
Yeah, I thought there was someone either on BGG or something. Someone was like working on a 2-player variant or whatever, but I don't remember. Yeah.
I know Eleni, who works for CG, played it with her partner a lot,
Yeah.
and she said she enjoyed it, but it's not like an official player count.
Got it.
It says 2 to 6 on BGG.
Really?
There you go.
okay.
There you
Well, I
go.
wonder if it has some
But
kind
the
of.
community
Yeah.
says 3 to 6.
Yeah.
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 That's
Cool.
unsurprising.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
great choice. That was our number 6. So let's move on to number 5. Oh, it's back to Richard.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, so this again is one that's all about food prep and making the right getting the right ingredients to make the right meal, and I really like it a lot. I'm sure nobody's heard of it besides me. It is called Master Sweets, and this is a game that what would I would liken it kind of to Ticket to Ride, in that a large portion of the game is getting the right cards in your hand that represent different ingredients, fruits and flour and eggs and milk and just a wide variety. You can see them all there, probably almost all of them. There's chocolate and whatnot. And the thing is, over time, you're building a bigger and bigger hand. And in Ticket to Ride, you're trying to get the right collection of cards to lay track down. Here's the deal. The grid of all the cards you can see on the table, any row or column of that is functionally a recipe for a particular meal you're trying to make. So, like if you look in the middle, there's milk and fruit and lots of butter and chocolate. So, one of the fun things about this game is if I can get that particular combination of ingredients in my hand, I can claim that entire row or column and say, that's the meal I'm making. It's kind of the same as, getting all my trains on the board. And the interesting thing that happens is once I clear that out, they all go away and everything else shuffles together and tightens up to rebuild. You can see over time, the grid is changing. Oh, I thought I desperately needed one more butter. Oh, but now I don't need butter. I can fill that in that much quicker. And so imagine Ticket to Ride. Oops, that was a short video. We need to turn on looping. Come on back. Alrighty. Or I'll just go over there. There we go. Loop. Oh, it was looping. Oh, I just didn't let it loop. Right. Anyway, imagine Ticket to Ride where the board is constantly evolving and changing. And so you're trying to make plans, but oh my gosh, you took that other thing. I could pivot and make this other particular meal now. And then, of course, the interesting thing is, like Ticket to Ride, you spend all your cards to collect these. It is sharp and fast. And as I said in my little rapid review here, I would play this over Ticket to Ride any day because I think there's more going on. It's got that same kind of fast playing, get cards, rummy feel, but you've got special player powers. You also have a lot of different modes. There's like a really nasty cutthroat mode you can play if you want that. There's a cooperative version you can play. It's got a great solo mode. It's got a ton of variety built in. And at the end of the day, one of Jensen, my favorite things is, a particularly odd, there's like 3 fruit and some cream and some nuts. What is that? Is that, is that a banana split I've made for myself? It gives a little bit of role playing too. Like, look at this concoction I have made. Isn't it delicious? And yeah, it's really flying under the radar. It hasn't gotten a lot of attention, but I think it's very, very sharp. And anybody who likes Ticket to Ride and likes food owes it to themselves to try out Master Sweets.
You had me at Ticket to Ride and food.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, that's a good
really,
pitch.
Yeah, I really want to try this. I've never heard it. Well, why do you think it sort of flew under the radar?
Oh, it's from a very, very small publisher.
Okay.
A tiny little Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I think they did a second one a couple of years ago, if I recall correctly. But yeah, it was just, I mean, in an industry where 10,000 great games come out every year, not all of them are going to resonate or get noticed. But yeah, I think it's really great and worth seeking out.
Nice. Awesome.
Cool.
That was number 5. I'm super hungry right now.
That's
I know.
Yeah, we're
Me
recording this
too.
live, and it's
Yeah.
around lunchtime here on the Pacific West Coast. So yeah, we got to get through this list.
Yeah,
before-
let's move it.
Let's move it. But anyways, great choice. I really want to play this. But let's throw it back over to Chris, who's got our number 4.
All right. This is my last pick. This is one that is very much about food and marketing. And it's all marketing and not food. And this is actually kind of topical because the special deluxeified edition kind of came out today.
Oh, okay.
On
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is Food Chain Magnate.
Yep.
So Food Chain
Good pick.
Magnate by Splatter Games. I played this game for the first time this summer, and man, is it fun! It's yeah, it's really slick, and it's a lot less complicated than I expected. I feel
Yeah.
like it had this like image around it for me that, oh, it's gonna be so intense, it's gonna be 4 hours, like you really gotta buckle down. But really, it's just like a bunch of tech trees. It's very tech tree, the board game.
Yeah.
And as you sort of navigate how to promote your food, the food that you're getting, and the food that you want to deliver to your customers.
Yeah.
And so there's this big sort of board laid out there. There's a bunch of different houses, and those houses, they don't know they want food until you put up a billboard right next to their house that says, "Hey, you want pizza?" And they're like, "Yeah, I do want pizza. You're right." And then you hear some radio airwaves, and they're like, "Yeah, you want lemonade too with that pizza?" They're like, "Yeah, I need pizza and lemonade. And if I don't get pizza and lemonade from one restaurant, I'm not leaving my house ever again." And that's basically how the game proceeds. Is then it's up to you to try to get those resources and fulfill. It really is structured too from like a strategy point, and this is important if you ever pick it up and to know the game. The first few turns are so important because they
Yeah.
kind of define your strategy for the rest of the game. That's something that I think people will really like or people will really dislike, because there are these milestones, and they're really powerful milestones. So you can have if you the first person to get rid of food gets a fridge that can hold 10 food in between rounds. And so you don't then have to play your fry cooks, your burger chefs, or your pizza cooks every round. You can play them a couple rounds, build up a supply of pizza in your fridge, and then be like, okay, cool, I don't have to devote like resources and to that thing. And they're all super powerful. And it's really important that whoever's teaching you the game like emphasizes how powerful they are.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just like a wide variety of strategy, and there's not too much rules complexity. There's not like too much minute little things. It's pretty streamlined. But I also have to say, since there is like a Kickstarter going on, I think the base game is going to be the better version. I think it's going to be the better version because this Deluxified Kickstarter is giving you a bunch of plastic pieces, and like you got to put things on those houses. And if there's a big plastic piece and there's like a little pizza slice tucked in the corner of it, it's less readable. Like it's actually less readable to the game state
Wow.
than if you were to put like a little piece, a pizza symbol on a flat tile. So like personally, I was excited to see this come in this deluxified version, but I like the base game just fine, and for like 50% of the price. Sorry about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's a really nice thing that there's a black magic insert where you can have all the cards stacked up, which card organization is going to be a huge part of this, because there's all tech trees, and it's like, I'm going to buy this person who's going to chain off into that. And so there's a lot of like taking cards and building out your own little pyramid of the CEO hierarchy. But yeah, it's really slick. I like it a lot. It gets me actively excited to get it back to the table too. So and just experiment with different, like, which milestone am I going to get that's going to really change the strategy of what superpower that I can do versus everybody else who didn't get it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm so glad it's on Kickstarter now with this new edition, and I sort of feel ashamed for admitting this, but for years I have stayed away from this game because I didn't like the look of it. I felt like
Yeah.
it looked
Oh,
very
really?
clip arty.
Oh God, yeah.
You know
This
what I
is
mean?
widely regarded as one of the best ugly games of all time.
Yeah, and I couldn't get over that.
I love the
hurdle.
look. I actually love the.
Oh, you do
OG
love.
look.
Okay, see, that's
I'm
interesting.
with Chris as well. I really
Interesting.
like how this game looks.
The 50s Americana vibe is fantastic. The fact that your player aid
Yeah.
is a literally 50s diner menu that you can open up and
Okay.
leaf through is brilliant.
Yeah.
But the board that you spend the majority of your time looking at,
Yeah.
it's a different strokes for different folks.
No,
Some
totally.
people find
Yeah.
beauty in austerity, I suppose,
Exactly.
and I guess that's what this delivers.
Yeah. And that's why I'm, again, you can totally keep the original game and have fun with it. I'm looking forward to this new version because it's going to finally get me over the hump because I want to play this game. I've never played it, and I know it's
a brilliant game.
Yeah.
It is also a
Really
brilliantly cutthroat game because
Yes.
Chris was talking about,
Yeah.
I put all that work into making the people want the lemonade and the pizza, and then what do you know? You open up a shop right next door to me and completely undercut me, and all the work I did is gone, and I just lost. If you don't play your cards right, I gotta say the most brilliant thing about it is the personnel management. I loved the way that works. Like you said, it's kind of the base of a tech tree and just really sharp. And hey, you know what? It's a step up from your previous one because at least food is in the title, even if it's only barely
Food's
in the game
title.
itself.
Food's in the title.
There you go.
I knew I'd get by on this one.
Yeah. Nice one,
I
Chris.
said I just looked through my shelf and I saw food and I said, okay, I guess that's
There you
all
go.
right.
Easy peasy.
And then I was like, I gotta play it now. No, I'm just kidding.
Love it.
Well, I also really want to play this one. I'm in the same boat as Ruel. I've never actually played this. I really want to because I actually am one of those people who likes how it looks. I love the description of it, but every time I've been this close to someone teaching it, the description of the game turns off one person. And they're like, yeah, actually, let's play something else. Because
yeah.
like the description you gave is exactly what I've heard every single time, which is that it's long. The first couple of turns are really important. And, there's always one person who's like, let's do something else. And I've come this close like 5 times because I would like to play it with someone who knows it. That's how I want to learn it. And I've been in that situation multiple times and it always gets yoinked for something else. So I'm really hoping.
And then you bring out Yum Yum Island every time.
And then I'm like, hey man, let's just play Yum Yum Island. Why are we?
Nice. Okay, we're getting to the top.
I wouldn't worry.
Oh.
Yeah, just on the timing. Like I wouldn't worry that much about the timing. Like I think it took our 4-player game with 3 new players. I think it took us like 2.5 hours.
Oh, that's actually not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Like especially when it's being touted as this like 4 hours sort of like I don't see how it could get that with the decision space that you have to do. I was expecting something way more complex, and I actually found it like very reasonable. We did sort of opt for a shorter game because basically at the beginning there's a set amount in the bank and then everybody puts in a secret amount into when the bank refreshes. And so you can put in a large amount or a small amount and okay, I put in $400, so there's going to be at least a little bit of time to get my engine running. Or no, I put $200, so I'm going to pursue like a quicker strategy. I think that's the design behind it. And so we all kind of opted for like the $200 level when we played it for that like 2.5 hour.
That's the thing. This is a game that
was good, right?
Yeah, its length can be very dependent on players, and if everybody throws in, I mean, it can be an epic. Not quite Twilight Imperium experience, but it can do that, which is why you always need to have at least 1 or 2 people at the player table who are treating it as a race and saying, no, I'm going to make this go fast, and I'm going to get in and make my money and get out while everybody else is still building up their infrastructure.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I can't wait to play it one of these days. Who knows, Ray? Maybe we'll play it together for the first time.
There you go.
I would love that. I would genuinely love that.
Yeah, likewise. We're at the top 3 now, folks.
All
There's
right.
top 3 food games, and it's back to me. I had to put this game on the list because it is one of the first games that I played when I got into the hobby years ago, and it's still a game that I use, I'll talk about in just a second, as far as explaining a certain mechanism. And it's our number 3. It is Sushi Go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's food in the game, and there's our friend, the Dragon's Tomb, playing it. It's a classic set collection card drafting game. You're drafting different types of sushi. They score differently. You're going to play it simultaneously as the other players. Then you pass your cards to the left or right, and you continue. You play 3 rounds. There's certain ones that score bonuses at the end of the round. I think it's the desserts. And I could have put in any version of this. Sushi Go, Sushi Party, or even Sushi Roll, the dice one. I love them all. They're all pretty much the same game, but obviously with dice or whatnot. But this game, I use it to explain card drafting.
Sure.
And it's I use this as part of my holy trinity of card drafting games. You use Sushi Go, then I explain 7 Wonders, and then we get to Blood Rage. And those are the 3...
The pipeline.
The pipeline, yes, of card drafting. And I think this is the perfect one because it's easily portable. I played it so many times with family and friends and non-gamers. Gamers, it's a nice little filler. And, I mean, it's got super cute art. I mean, Pudding, come on. It's one of the cutest games ever. And it's by one of my favorite designers, Phil Walker Harding, praise be. Wonderful designer. And he's got this special place in my heart because all his games are very accessible and they're just a lot of fun. And that's why it's our number 3 pick, folks, Sushi Go.
All right, and before we talk about the game, for folks who aren't familiar with the channel, The Dragon's Tomb, his whole shtick is he makes a video how to play the game, making up his own rules. So please do not have read the text in this portion and think, oh, I think I understand how to play this game now.
That's
you
right.
most definitely do not.
No, he makes it very accurate how to play. He's the only one who I've seen does the actual how to play correctly.
Rules.
I stand corrected.
Other channels.
I stand corrected.
He's the only one who teaches.
Right? You can get a score of 15,100. That's a pretty good score.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not
look at
all
this.
it's
pretty good score at Sushi Go.
These are the millions and billions.
Jesus.
Oh, that's a good score.
Yeah.
What a good channel.
But you're right. You know this game has made a really big impact because whenever I'm sitting down to Jen and saying, okay, we're going to play this game, and, it's like Sushi Go. Sushi Go or Seven Wonders are the two games you reference to immediately understand a closed hand draft.
Yep.
Like Sushi Go. And yeah, it's a great gateway. It's charming. It's fast. It's adorable. And yeah, I would say I would think most people would consider it a pretty solid entry for food as well.
Yeah.
Because it is about getting the right number of points
Totally.
and getting the right combinations of foods together that work well together, and therefore they're more valuable. Yeah,
Yeah.
good choice all around.
Now,
Unlike some
totally
games.
off the. I was just going to ask, do you eat sushi?
No.
Okay.
So
just want to make sure.
Also, it doesn't make me hungry like some of the other games, so it doesn't have any unfortunate side effects.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, it's less appetizing because all the sushi have cute little faces on them, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
So
I'm eating this
Yeah.
cute little sushi.
Yep.
Or more appetizing, depending
Oh,
on
depending, yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
if we're going with the Donner family party
Yeah.
party game.
amazing.
Nice. All right. We got two left. Ray, you've got our second choice for the list.
All right. So this one, if you watch the pre-show, I alluded to this game. My number 2 is A Feast for Odin. And this game is probably why Uwe Rosenberg will be my favorite designer probably forever. I adore this game so very much. I am a big worker placement and also spatial reasoning person. Those are like my 2 favorite mechanics, and this game puts them together in the most amazing way possible. So this is classic Rosenberg game. You are feeding your workers and being a Viking and raising your animals and breeding your animals and all the things that you know and love from Rosenberg. And your goal in Feast for Odin is to expand out and fill up your little board with various goods, whether they be, animal products or trinkets from your raids, all your Viking activities. You're trying to get these little polyominoes. Is that the phrase for them? These little,
You nailed it.
Yeah, polyominoes to fit in your Viking field. That's the one part thematically that kind of falls through. You just have a field with all your stuff in it, but don't think about that too hard. You're trying to get these little polyominoes together to fill out your field. And the food element of this, I know it's secondary, but you also, because it's a Uber game, you have to feed your workers. So in addition to getting trinkets to put in your field, you're also trying to get meat and milk and such to feed your Vikings. And I just love this game. You've got this giant section on the left hand of the board that's like 30 worker placement options, and my ADHD brain just like flashes colors with that many options. I adore it. I find it a lot less punishing than Agricola, which is one of my other favorite games. You can obviously block people off from stuff, but because you have those 30 things to do and it's a relatively well-balanced game, someone takes what you're going to do, you can go somewhere else. There's a ton of options. There's a ton of paths to victory. There are obviously a couple strategies that are kind of considered the best ones, but I have seen people win with just animal breeding and all sorts of crazy hyperfixations on different parts of the game. And I just love how many options there are. And that spatial reasoning is so wonderful. I love that, like, when it's not my turn, I can be fiddling with my little polyominoes to try to see where they're going to go. Because, like, I'm that person in Catan when it's not my turn. I'm, like, building a little physical tower out of my pieces while I'm waiting for everyone else. I love that that's basically a thing I can do in my downtime, is I can be fiddling with how my things fit together. This game is also fantastic on BGA. If you've never played it on BGA, it's super good. If this game is kind of beefy and long for you to get to the table, the BGA adaptation is fantastic. This is a feast for Odin. I adore this game. It's just everything I love from Uwe as a designer, and it's so good. I love it so much. I feel like every time I play it, I learn a new thing, especially playing with people who are better than me on BGA, who kick my butt. I'm like, oh man, how did you double my score? How did you possibly do that? It's one of those games that I love losing because I love watching how people carve their path to victory. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You gotta love when you
So good.
can appreciate a game even though you lose at it.
Yeah.
And I there's a couple of games like that for me where I lose all the time. And one of my favorite games of all time, Blood Rage, which I just talked about, I lose at the game so much, yet I still love it for what it is. But Feast for Odin, of course, It's got feast in the title.
I was just gonna
Hey,
say
please,
it does
please,
have
give-
feast in the
Give
title.
me this.
Yeah. Well, no,
We
yeah.
got food in the title. We got feast in the title. We're good.
Here's the thing. It's another one that ranks very, very high on Board Game Geek's food related if you go into that category. So the denizens of Board Game Geek agree. And and I would certainly say, I think it's reasonable because at the end of it is all about trying to get that feast.
Exactly.
And that's a much bigger part of the game than say Agricola, where I just have to have a certain number of food tokens to feed.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I've got to puzzle them together, and everything is always circling back towards that.
Yeah.
And everything is puzzly. Even the food mechanic, you can't have, I can't just stockpile a bunch of meat and throw it on my table. You can only have one meat, then you've got to diversify the food, so you've got to go out and hunt and get a different type of meat. Everything comes back to that polyomino, fiddly, puzzly bit. I love it so much.
Yeah. They are
I also find
surprisingly
it the
picky.
least...
Those pirates or those
They are.
Vikings. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
Were you
I
gonna
find
say,
it's the
Chris?
least. No, I find it's the least punishing in terms of also like feeding your people is the easiest to do as well, because if you don't have enough food, you just feed them silver coins and they can snack on those.
That's my favorite part is you can just give them money if you don't have food. You're like, man, chew on this, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Chew
you
on
don't
these-
have to worry about getting the begging cards in Agricola.
Oh God, exactly. It is
Chew
the
on this
less
coin.
punishing of the two.
Yeah.
As much as I love Agricola, I would pick A Feast for Odin any day, just because it feels like it's more open. There's more to do. There's just more varied actions in this game, and God, I just love looking at that grid of like 35 options. My brain just, I love it.
Yeah. And I will just say that this is the game that got me to stop playing Uwe Rosenberg games.
Really?
No, do you
This is
hate it?
I hated it until Norwegian's
no.
expansion
The
came
expansion,
out
yeah,
and fixed
yeah.
everything. I mean, that is, if we ever do
Broke
a
my
top
heart for a
10
second.
mandatory must-have expansions, the Norwegian expansion for Feast for Odin is absolutely must-have. Because I do think everything you said is right. Everything about it is brilliant. But the insane swinginess of the card draws of that game, to me, just completely undo it. I mean, I've had brilliant strategies just completely destroyed, and there's really, the game doesn't give you much way to pivot. If, look, I need more freaking spears. Everything about me is wailing, and I've spent the whole game and I can't get a single one. Why isn't there, a face-up, draw draft, or draw three, pick one, anything? The randomness of those, that card deck, the weapon or the
cards.
tools card deck. But then Norwegians fixed that so beautifully and made the rest of the game even better. So,
I'm glad you came around to it.
I got there in the end.
Nice. And speaking of the end, we're at the top of the
here we
list,
are,
Richard.
yes.
What do you got for number one?
Okay, number one is, once again, it's all about making that delicious, delicious meal and cooking it. And it's going to be another one that probably nobody has heard of, and it's a real shame because more people should play Cuisine a la carte. And, I know you're going to like this because what would you get if you cross food with Star Realms?
Oh, really?
Cuisine a la carte?
Cuisine a la carte, really?
Yes.
Oh,
this
you had
is
me at hello, sir.
Yes, this is a deck building game. And you start out with a deck that's mostly salt because that'll always work. The meal's not working, just throw some more salt in it.
Yeah.
But you are drafting to get all the different ingredients you need to make particular meals. Over to the side of the board, you've got a celebrity chefs you're trying to impress by getting the right types of meals together. You are mixing and matching, or trying to do set collections because hey, if you get a green card and you play it, you know what it does to the other green cards. So it's got that. It plays smooth. It is fun, and it is once again all about okay. Well, I've got this big collection of cards. I've made it, and what is this meal? Again, it's something I really like as well.
Yeah.
I define what the meal is I'm making by this random cards. Now, here's the twist, though. After you make the meal, bye-bye cards.
Oh.
So this also mixes in this idea of it's a deck deconstruction game as well. You spend a lot of time getting the right cards together. And there are ways you can hold on to your cards instead of getting rid of them. But this game does make you pivot. And you're like, oh, I've made the perfect green and blue deck, and I just got rid of all my blue cards and I have my green cards. Maybe it's time to go to, the other food source, the dairy, which is the reds, and give up on the fish now. It's really, really sharp. It's a lot of fun. It's mouth-watering. And again, it really brings the food category to life. And if you like deck building, and if you like Star Realms or Hero Realms or Cthulhu Realms or any other realms, this is basically Food Realms. And I think it is well worth seeking out. Cuisine a la carte.
Yeah, you had me at hello. As I said, I need to get this. Another game that, you're right. I have never heard of this game, and Another one that flew under the radar. I'm assuming it's a small publisher.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Food, Star Realms. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Who publishes Hero Realms and Star Realms again?
Wise Wizard.
Wise, yes, Wise Wizard.
Well, we gotta get them in.
There you go. Get them involved.
Yeah.
There you
Food
go. Get them
Realms,
to
like,
buy it up. Yeah.
Yep.
I think calling it Food Realms and like putting it under that IP and just like bringing it over.
I'm all
I
over
think
it.
that'd be a smash hit.
Food Realms or maybe
Genius.
Chef Realms or
Yeah.
come on, let's get this game out there. I totally love everything about this game that you talked about.
All right.
It's great. Okay, so 12 games, friends. Food games. I am starving right now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We want to
Yeah.
thank Ray from the Op for joining us
Yes.
today on this for this list. Ray, thank you so much. You've been great.
Oh my god.
Really
Of course,
appreciate
this was a blast. I had so much fun like scrounging my collection for food themed games. It was a really fun prompt. So
Yeah.
thanks so much for having me on.
All right.
Apparently, nobody
You're
else
the-
knew
you're the
besides
new
me.
R.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's official.
It is.
Cool.
Okay.
And we will all play Yum Yum Island when we go to PAX. I'll
Oh,
bring
yeah.
it with
That's
me.
a
Make
must
sure
try.
everyone,
Definitely.
Awesome.
everyone
Yeah.
tries it out.
And by the way, folks, I think we mentioned it throughout, but we're not done yet. We're about to go into the post show. If you're watching this on YouTube, after you check out the Ops Black Friday sale, follow the links down in the show notes to go to the extended version of this. You'll get to know Ray in the pre-show. We do a lot of fun games with the audience, and in the post show, we'll be telling you about some honorable mentions that just missed our list as well. So you don't want to miss that. Links again down in the show notes.
All right. And that'll do it. Richard, do you want to take us away?
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you later, and thank you to the Op Games. So long. Bye-bye.
And hello, we are back. Thanks, folks. We are now in the post show.
For the pre-show. Hey,
the
chat.
pre-show.
Hi,
Post
chat.
show.
Missed you.
Oh yeah.
I
the
hate not
post-show.
talking to chat.
Yeah,
They're back.
I
they're
miss
back.
You guys. Hi.
Ray,
Say
let's
hi,
talk
everybody.
to chat. Let's say hi. to
Yay,
everyone.
let's talk to
I just talked to him
chat.
anyway.
Yeah.
You- oh my God. Hi, Bill. It's good to see you. I love
Good
you.
to see
Thanks
everyone.
For joining.
Thank you for hanging out with us. So what we're gonna do now? We're gonna talk about some of the games that didn't make our final cuts.
Yep.
I'll start things off. So I had a few that didn't make the cut. Point Salad was y'all picked
Yeah.
that one. Also had Monster Crunch, the breakfast battle game. Remember those old
What?
school?
That sounds very funny.
I
Dude.
love that title.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like one of the
Damn.
best. It's a card shedding game based on all those old school cereals like Franken Crunch, was it, or those monster cereals?
Yeah, sure.
It's just a card shedding game using that theme. It's a really
Cool.
fun light game. Also Delicious from Point.
Honestly, I thought for sure that would be on your list.
It was really close. It was really close. I love that from Pencil First, a roll and write game talking about all kinds of food and veggies that you collect. Also had Filipino Fruit Market. This is a very hard game to come about. It is a trick-taking game based on Filipino Fruit Market. And finally, Gudetama, the tricky egg card game. I just love Gudetama. It's a cute little egg character, and it's a trick-taking game that's very
He's a
easy to
sleepy
pick up
egg.
and get into. Yes,
I
it's
love him.
super cute game. What about y'all? Games that didn't make the cut, Chris?
Yeah, I had Sushi Go on my list, obviously, but I had Sushi Go Party because I love
Yeah.
the miso soup card.
Which
I
one
think
does,
Sushi
what
Go
does that
is,
do again? The
is,
miso?
is better because it's just like a
Oh,
nice
miso
thing,
soup
but
is the one where
Oh,
if
miso
you
soup is
play it
so
and other
funny.
people play it,
Nobody
you
Oh,
don't
that's
get
right,
points.
no
You have to
one-
be the
oh,
only
okay.
one to play it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so well, the way I play Sushi Go Party when the miso soup card is in there is I play miso soup. And it doesn't matter. I play
You just
anytime
assert
I
your
get a miso soup,
dominance.
I love
I'm
it.
going to play miso soup. It does not work out well because everybody takes a turn playing miso soup, but it's very fun. I'll be
Nice.
like, no matter what I'm putting forward, they're like, what are you playing? I'm like, I think you know. I think it's a miso soup. And like, if I get a miso soup in my hand, oh, I'll play it.
It's on the
100%.
table.
And
That's great.
I think I got like 7 points because that's all I did. But it was like one of the most fun games of Sushi Go Party I've ever played.
Awesome.
So that obviously had to be on the list. And then I had Morels on the list, which is a little 2-player game that my girlfriend really likes. You're collecting mushrooms in the forest and like cooking them into sets. Basically, you can use the sets for points. You can use the sets for more like flexible buying power. And then I had Dulce on the list as well from Stronghold.
That's a nice little game.
I like it. It's the definition of multiplayer solitaire. Like you're not playing against anybody else at all whatsoever. Like there's no interaction, and it's very fiddly in terms of you need people just to be keeping track of their score correctly, and sometimes they won't. But like the way things cascade down, you can use a resource for all of it, and then it gets runoff that you can use in another recipe, and then you can use that runoff in another recipe, and just chaining those resources down is I think really fun. I think it's a really fun game. And the cube colors are horrible because they're all beige. There's
Oh,
like
my
5
nightmare.
different cubes, and they're all beige.
My nightmare.
It's just atrocious. They like went for really nice tones, but it's like, oh, here's caramel and vanilla and cocoa. And I'm like, I don't know. I know what the
Oh,
eggs are,
God.
but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun game as well. So those were kind of the ones that I was floating around as well, putting
Awesome.
on
Cool. Thanks.
as honorable mentions.
Ray, do you have any that didn't make the cut?
I had a couple.
All right.
Which first of all, I had Sushi Go initially on my list as well, but then I was like, someone else is gonna put
Yep.
it, so I swapped it out. Sushi Go is so I just want to reiterate, Sushi Go is like my go-to entryway game. I love that game so much. It's a blast to play on stream as well. It's super fun.
Yes.
But I had Diced Veggies on my list, which I couldn't
Oh, that's a newer
put on
one.
the
Oh,
list
yeah.
because I haven't played it. So I was like, I can't, but I think I'll love it. It's a tactile little game where you've got this little grid of dice, and then you're gonna take your little chipboard knife and
Yeah.
chop off a
It
section
looks
of it.
adorable.
It's supposedly for kids because it's kids table board gaming. But when I was chatting with the woman there at Gen Con, she was like, yeah, you can like add in these extra cards to make it a better like entry level game for adults. And I just love a little gimmick like that, a little tactile, again, spatial reasoning. Where are you gonna chop your dice? I haven't played it, so in good conscience, I couldn't put it on the list, but God, I want to try it so bad. I want
Totally.
to cut my little dice veggies so bad. It's
Yeah,
like a
same.
clever theme, such a clever thematic tie-in with the name and everything. And then the other one I had on my list, which again, in good conscience, I couldn't put on the list because I worked on it, but I almost put on Surrealist Dinner Party by Resonim, which was a game that I worked on during my time at Resonim. Which is as the name implies, a surrealist dinner party. You are inviting real life surrealist artists and writers and all that kind of stuff to your house, and they are surrealists, so they are eccentric and strange, and they want eccentric and strange things. And it's basically you're just trying to feed them their various needs and the different people. You know, some people want a lot of wine and drama, and some people are just here for some bread and don't want anyone to talk to them. Really cool thematic game of like
Very
serving your
funny.
little dinner party. If you like weird looking games as well, one of my favorite things about this game is the art. We got a real life surrealist artist, Virginia Mori, to illustrate the game. And we worked with the estates of all the real life surrealists in the game to get depictions of these artists that sort of mirror their own style. Really weird, really cool game. But I worked on it, so I felt icky putting it on the list. But go check it out if you haven't. If you like art history, or if you just like a light food themed game, yeah, Surrealist Dinner Party. And that's all I had. I actually struggled a little bit to find food games.
I
Now that I know that we're
apologize
defining it so broadly,
for-
I could have picked a bunch of stuff, but I was trying so hard to pick ones that Richard would approve of. I think I failed with spicy, but I tried my best.
I will not be
There's
sending
so
you a
many in the
knife
chat
anytime
too
soon.
now.
No, it'll show up totally unrelated. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Someone else did that. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see.
There's so many in the chat too that I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's one. That's one. That's
So
one.
I know,
many.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
What about you,
Sure,
Richard? What else
I-
did you have?
Oh, wait,
He
wait.
loves
I
kids'
bet-
games.
sure,
Is that the
charcuterie.
lore that's coming from this? Is that I just like games for children, Bloody? Man, if it's 5 and up, I'm there.
Oh, yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah, there's a bunch in the chat, and several of my notes, like New Spirit and Fleet and whatnot. I tried to stay away from like mass industrial stuff because to me, it's more like it's less of the food and more of the product.
Yep.
But my top 10 is number 10, dollars to donuts. Did you have point salad or no? You Chris had point
Chris had
salad.
point
salad.
This is from the same design trio: Molly Johnson, Sean Stankiewicz, Robert Melview. It's one of their lesser known ones. Tile laying. All donuts, all the time, and those three working together is always great. Number 9, Sweet Mess, a pastry competition, which
Wait.
is about making pastries, and it's all about, hey, I grabbed the ingredients I want, but when I pull them out of the bowl, more ingredients spill into other bowls, so the draft is constantly changing and updating. It's very, very cool. Number 8, Walkstar, one of the first real-time board games of all time, and then number 7, Kitchen Rush. So I put them kind of next to each other.
Yeah.
I think they're both great and get all that, that frantic feel of working in a kitchen and producing food. Number 6, Morels. I thought for sure it'd make your shortest short list,
Nice.
Chris. Number 5, Critter Kitchen, which I've only played the prototype, and I wouldn't want to put it higher until I played the final version of it, but it's really sharp. And then number 4, Chocolate Factory. which there are a lot of chocolate games I could have talked about, but most of them are fairly abstract, like Truffle Shuffle and Chocolatier. But this one, it's all about getting that chocolate through the assembly line and mixing the nuts in and all that. So it really is much more mouthwatering. And then I had a whole bunch that I had Grand Austria Hotel as if I was playing fast and loose. I also had Dolce and also Cafe. If you like Dolce, you've got to try Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
My Farm Shop and Beer and Bread. Beer and Bread, I thought you might get on your list.
Considered it.
Right. Oh, and Fromage. Nobody's played it yet, but it's all about cheese. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And then I just don't consider it food, but I know wine is food, so Vinos would have made my list if I was
If
bringing
we started going out
in.
into drinks, you could have had distilled and viticulture.
Exactly,
That would have been a mess.
Yep.
It would have been a madhouse.
Exactly. So I kept
drinks.
liquids off, and that means I also kept out Scrumpy, which is about making harvesting the apples and making cider.
Oh.
Neat little and then the other one,
it
the coffee shop in Germany one that I can't remember the name of right now that just popped into my head.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It is. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It didn't make my list, so
Anyways, if y'all know what we're thinking, let us know in the comments below. But we're out of time. I've had a great time. Richard, thank you for stopping by in real life. This is great. And thank you, Ray, for hanging out with us today here on the R&R Show.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And Chris, as always, thank you for being the handsome devil that you are.
Seize the bean.
Seize the bean.
Thank you,
There it is.
Kim. Kim wins Kim is a double winner today with the Battle Royale and remembering the name Seize the Bean.
That's right. What we're going to do next is raid someone. I think our friends from the Good Times Society are about to play some board games. We're going to raid Becca and Jake and crew. Thank you again for watching, folks. Have a wonderful day, wonderful week. Be sure to watch the video when it drops tomorrow on YouTube. Richard, any final thoughts before I start the raid?
No, I got to hit the road, man.
Okay, hit the road. All right, folks. Got 10 seconds until we all hit the road. Again, thank you so much for your support. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourselves. And for those that celebrate, have a happy Turkey Day.
Yes.
And whatnot. All right.
Very much so.
Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
All right.
Let's make sure the raid went through and
Yeah.
the raid has gone